is a special presentation of ABC Sports.
Hello and welcome to the 2017 SRA Indy 500. We do apologize for some technical difficulties. Tonight we are going to have 33 drivers battle it out in the greatest spectacle in racing. Many drivers and many teams tried as hard as they could to make it into tonight's event and unfortunately did not. The big cutoff, we had 87 drivers attempt to make this field, 33 get to run tonight. I'd like to introduce my co-commentators.
Hello.
Zach Rogers and DJ Curtis tonight for the event. And Brandon Lawson will be our in-race reporter. So Zach Rogers here in a few moments will be headed out to show us what it takes to make it and run in the around this 2.5 mile rectangle. Gentlemen, it's been a long month in the month of May and June. Who do you think's got a shot to win today?
Well, for my statistics here, I see a lot of drivers from the BP Racing League that are very experienced with open wheel race cars. I expect to see maybe some drivers such as like Greg Irwin and Derek Justice to be up front in the Indianapolis 500. We're not really running the whole 500 miles, we're running really more of a 500K, but I expect to see those guys kind of run up near the front of the pack here and stay out of trouble. And maybe with the right amount of pit strategy, I see Derek Justice in victory lane here today.
Yeah, and I'm out here, guys. I'm in the car getting ready to show you what you need to do here. Pit speed is 60 miles per hour for these guys. I'm just going to whittle it out here in 6th gear, taking my time. These guys will have to go through the access road when they come off of pit road. And this won't be too difficult right here. You're just going to be full throttling it through here. This is where things will get interesting. Drivers, if they will go full speed, will be going through right here. They're going to have to mash it as much as possible and have to be really careful. Because if they go too fast through there, they will hit that grass, they will wipe out, and it'll be crazy. But here you go, you're going into turn 3. All these corners are really flat out, and it's just flat-footed around the track. Here you see where the restart zone starts, is that white line in turn 3, and you're flat-footing it around the track. You just got to hold your line as steady as possible to get around this racetrack.
Fast speeds are expected, and the big movements for passing along this racetrack would probably be down the front and back stretch, and if you can get your nose just underneath enough, you can also try to make a move in all the turns. How tricky it may be depends on how much room is given.
You also have to remember here, Blake, that there's also a slipstream here in the straightaways. If you can get that enough draft you can get a slingshot here. You can easily pass someone in the straightaway. Also, you have to remember, yes, like you said, the amount of room you give and take is a big factor here at these kind of speedways. For these open wheel cars, you know how sensitive they are to contact. With two cars bumping against each other, you know how catastrophic the results can be.
Indeed. So, thank you very much, Zach, for taking us around the course. Hopefully tonight we will see some competitive racing side by side and safe racing as well. The track has been known to have some very spectacular and horrifying accidents in the long 101 years that this event has been going on, that this track has been around. And as to who will come out of this unscathed, we'll see. Well, let's go ahead and take a real quick look at the practice times for this month. We saw Brandon Hawkin, who led the top of the charts at the beginning of the month. High speeds there. Dylan Poteet on day 2 in the 31 held high ranking as well. On the third day of the event, we had Chris Harder-Felix in the number 5 take top spot with 38.535 as his time and 233.554 miles per hour. I took the top spot in day 4 at 220 miles per hour. And on the final days, Zach Buchanan in the number 3, strong contender here. He held a lap time of 40.609. And that was it.
Yeah, remember the last day, it looks like test day number 6. Tyler Stallhood had the fastest lap there, but only a mere speed of 219.170 with a time of 41.0 seconds.
So with that being said, obviously not all drivers could make it into the event today, as the times were oh so close for running in the event. Some of the drivers who failed to make the field, originally at least, Theodore Segal III, just barely missed out on it. Zach Rogers in the 9 barely missed out. Toby Robertson failed to make the field. Bobby Jones, a big name in the sport, failed to make the field as well.
Yeah, he is actually on track as a sub-driver, driving the number 17 for Jeffrey McClintock. So Bobby, really lucky for this opportunity, able to race despite not being able to qualify his own car into the field.
Indeed. And just to let you know how close this was, first place to 34th position and 33rd was separated by an estimated 1 car length in distance. So let's go ahead out on track and let's take a look and see just what's going on in terms of practice before we get started on the event.
Yeah, and as we talk about substitute drivers, you've got a lot of guys out here that are subbing. David Shieldhouse is driving the 28 for George Hart. We've got Doug Denise in the 5 for Chris Hart. There's a lot of guys out there that are sub-drivers. Philip Cross in the 27, Tommy Bordeaux in the 30. Tyler Stallhood failed to queue in his own ride. He's driving the 43 for Ricky Collette. And, it's just, there's a couple guys out there that got lucky. They're getting to sub for some rides here, man. And you got to just try and take the most of that opportunity. They will have to EOL on the start, however.
Yeah, I also... I subbed for Dylan Young, if any of you were wondering, in the 14. That's why he's in the grid. I think I got him pretty far up in that area, too, like top 20 area, I believe. He's starting in the back as well. A lot of drivers, like I said, a lot of substitutes coming in at the last minute here. Some were pre-planned ahead, some just happened so quickly. So we will see a lot of drivers near the back of the field here. I believe another, not really a substitute here, but one driver going to the back is also Seth Cole in the 55.
And you're right, DJ, you got that 14 machine 15th, which locked him into the show. And here we see, I'm actually looking at happy hour time still in right now with the fastest lap. It may be happy hour, a lot of people trying to make sure they can get down to pit road for green flag pit stops, but that is still something.
Yeah, you have to remember, though, some of these laps are more from behind somebody. When you're drafting behind somebody, you get more speed behind them, you get more downforce in a way, but sometimes the car can tighten up, push up the racetrack, so we could see a lot of that in the race here. Dylan Young, like I said, like you mentioned, has the fastest lap so far in happy hour with the 42.219, and that is in seconds, obviously. Philip Kraus, second quickest, Jason Justice, third, Noah Carmichael, fourth, and Derek Justice, the fifth quickest on the grid so far here in this happy hour session.
As the cars finish up doing some practice, we hope to see some great racing, obviously. There's going to be plenty of drivers out there running for themselves, but even more so, there's going to be a lot of manufacturers today. Today we're going to be the race is represented by 17 Chevrolets, 9 Hondas, 4 Fords, a Mazda, and 1 Toyota as well. A lot of people going over to the Chevy Power this year, and a few staying with the Honda engines. But here's the interesting thing. The top 3 spots are dominated by the Honda engine. The rest are scattered through Chevys, Mazdas, and Fords. With the engine package the way it is, who do you think is going to be able to come out on top?
First, let me get off the track here. You don't want to hold up that grid here, because they're in the race session actually at the moment. But a lot of drivers to look out for here in the grid. And it looks like I think a few of them that I would see is Brandon Lawson, the pole sitter coming into the 500. He's definitely one guy to look out for. He's going to be starting up front in the grid, for crying out loud. Greg Irwin, another guy, like I mentioned him, I believe is one of the BP drivers. If I didn't, then it's fine. He is a 2-time Blazing Pedals IndyCar champion, so we could see him maybe get himself up to the front here, maybe even win this race. As well, you also have, I believe, Corey Carpenter there, 25 plus IndyCar wins and 3 IndyCar titles as well.
You also have to look out for Justin Melillo. He was the Open Speedway Indianapolis 500 champion as well. And another person to look out for is Zach Buchanan in the number 3. He's got 16 IndyCar wins, 2 IORL IndyCar titles, and he is also a 2-time Indy 500 winner.
Yeah, we talk about IndyCar greatness here. Let's look at guys like Corey Carpenter, who starts 4th in row 2. This guy's got 2 OSW IndyCar championships, 1 Unser IndyCar championship, and he's got 25 plus IndyCar wins in the NR community. And then you've got Bobby Jones, who's subbing for Jeffrey McClintock. He's a 3-time IRL IndyCar champion. And he's got a Cup championship and a few late model titles as well. So you got great IndyCar drivers here that are accomplished throughout the board. As we've had a race restart here, apparently.
Looks like something might have happened with the pace car there. They had a bit of maybe a technical issue with the NR game.
Well, we're going to go ahead and roll the starting lineup to show you who's up front today. I got plenty of drivers going up front today. Brandon Lawson in the 41 is going to be starting first as we roll through the field.
Yeah, and these guys are going to be starting. You're not going to see them start where they are right now. These guys will take the green at a pace speed determined by the administrators. And they will be reordering the field the way they qualified. They will be starting in a 3-wide start. So it'll be definitely something very interesting to see here. As noted, drivers that are substitute drivers or had someone queue for them will have to start at the back of the field.
Now, the big interesting thing is the fact that in it all, the field is, for one, doing a 3-wide start, and in addition, there is no push to pass in this series. In many cases, there are situations in the real IndyCar series where a push to pass is available. No, in this case, the 6th gear is your push to pass. That's your drafting gear. So you're going to have to suck up pretty hard and get ready for the big push, big arrow push, and hope to make your way back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys definitely going to get a lot of draft. As we said, it's flat-footed. 5th gear is actually a non-draft gear, so when these drivers make their way around the course, if they lose the draft, they will most likely be running in 5th gear. You will see these guys hit 6th gear definitely on the start, and anytime they're in draft whatsoever. As right now, you're going to see the green flag be displayed, and these guys will be reordering the field into their 3 wide starting positions.
So 128 laps here at the event.
I believe it is 126. They're going to take the first 2 laps to sort out the starting grid. There are drivers that, as we said, have to go to the tail. And they also have drivers, it was random queued, except for Brandon Lawson getting his pole position. So a lot of guys have to get up from the back and do so safely without running into someone.
Well, I can certainly tell you that I'm very, very excited for this event. It's the first big event I get to broadcast and I get to commentate on. And more than anything else, not only are we happy to be here, but we are so happy for those of you that are joining in at home. We hope that we can be able to put on an amazing show for you tonight. And we get to see some high-flying, 240 miles an hour, high-banked racing here.
Oh, yes, indeed. It is an honor to be up here, though. Thank you very much, Blake, for inviting me and Zach over. Hopefully this is fun for us to watch here. Hopefully this first couple of laps aren't really that terrible. In the past Indy 500s I've seen in NR, they haven't really been I guess you can say the most passive, to be exact,
Yeah, man, I'm glad that I was able to come up here and enjoy this race up here from the booth. I had a few drivers. I had Natan, Moto, I think I'm saying it wrong, but I'm doing my best here. And Victor Valley had offered me a chance to drive their Rise Natan and was able to make the race. And Philip Kraus is driving the 27. I respectfully had to decline Victor's offer as we just got so close to race day that it just didn't seem right to back out of this gig at the last second and run a car around the track. So I'm going to try to enjoy this to the best of my abilities up here in the booth, and hopefully it'll be a great race to witness from up here.
So as they head into the third and fourth turn, everyone appears to almost be set up. As we'll bounce back up to Brandon Lawson. Let's go on board real quick, just see how far they are to aim the line. Not too far, honestly.
And it seems they will be taking one more lap to get in order. As we look at Brandon Lawson, he is our in-race reporter. We hope to have been able to contact him. Obviously, things came up. We had some technical issues. We were not able to have our pre-race interviews, but we hope to talk to some drivers. We were going to be talking to the top 4 finishers at the end of the race. And Brandon is our in-race reporter, so hopefully we'll be able to talk to him at some point during a yellow flag.
The one thing I do want to comment on, the track has definitely changed throughout the entire month of May and into June. Certain days we were a little bit slower in single car runs. Certain days we were much faster. Definitely, without a doubt, the way that you want to get around this track would be down on the bottom inside, but you think that there's going to be any special moves or special lines that anyone's going to be taking today?
Well, I think mostly I'm going to see a lot of people use more of the inside lane. It's going to be probably a lone line. I expect a lot of people to maybe attach to the bottom lane of the racetrack. Maybe some might try and break that draft and that back straightaway, but I think really it's the traditional IndyCar lines that we've seen in real life, and which will probably transpire over to here in NR. And maybe we could see some drivers use that outside line maybe to make it work, but it's usually a less likely of a chance. But I think we're going to see the typical IndyCar racing moves set from the old rule book back then.
Yeah, DJ, I totally agree that we could see low line. I think we might see high line. I was down in the garages and I heard some guys talking, from some teams. They're like, hey, man, you want to maybe hook up in the race when we're single file and draft up on that high line to make it harder for people to pass on the low side. Draft is key here for these IndyCars. As the green flag is out, the SRA Indy 500 underway.
Green flag is going to fly. Lawson's going to drop back a little bit as Brandon Hawkins going to edge out in front. I don't know if that will be a penalty or if that was just a poor start by Lawson.
And we already have a wreck in turn 4. Caution is out. The pace car is out on the track, and it looks like these guys hit the line for the caution. I'm seeing Dylan Schwallenberg, Dylan Young, Seth Cole might have been in it. I see Joseph Benesto and David Shieldhouse
And Schwallenberg, I think, is out of this event.
I think he might have blown up. That's what might have been the case, and he probably got hit several times too.
Let's rewind the footage and let's see what exactly happened. From the way it appears, Schwal was headed into the turn.
And he has retired. Dylan Schwallenberg has retired. Yeah, his car blew up on the start, it appears.
I think when he tried to shift to fourth gear, the gearbox failed, and that's why it just blew up all of a sudden.
David Shieldhouse had nowhere to go. He was right on his back bumper. He's going to get right into the back of him. David spins down. Dylan Young has no idea this is happening, and Dylan Young had absolutely nowhere to go and clobbered into the 28. I mean, it was just a smoke screen effect.
Another driver was just trying to spin, trying to avoid the accident there. Seth Cole got a piece of it. Joseph Anesto, you saw the red car get involved there as well. But yeah, a lot of drivers, and it looks like we will have a restart attempt after all. And, well, it's a rough start, but hey, it's okay. It happens, you know. It's just, some leagues are like this where you're not going to judge them too much, you know. But just a rough start here. A bit of a rocky start for them.
And just to say, I mean, these guys are allowed to restart these races. You know, we are not DRTV, to say the least. So these guys have every right to do this the way they want. You know, we're up here. We're streaming this race. We're just here doing this for fun. You know, we're not professionals or anything close to what DRTV is able to do. So, but we thank Zach Buchanan and Tyler Stallhood and the rest of the SRA administrators allowing us to broadcast this event. And this gives us a little more time to actually talk about some more drivers. If we want to look at the tail of the field, drivers that had to cue their way in, starting with the number 16 of Jason Justice, who actually, looking at his time that he put in on bump day, he would have been in the Fast 9 had he shown up the week before. And we've got, going down the list, the other drivers, we've got Shane Sides, Natan Omoto, I think I'm still botching that. Joseph Anesto in the Sierra 1, Tom Sylvain, Nick Gunther, Dylan Poteet, John Wall, and the aforementioned Dylan Schwallenberg, who appeared to have a gear let go. So these guys will be sorting out the starting lineup once again when they take the green. And we'll line them up again, and hopefully the 94 is blessed with a new motor, and I'm sure those guys bringing out some new back-out cars.
Now, a big question to you is, haven't we seen this happen before in not only leagues but races as well? We've seen engines just let go right at the start of an event. So, Indianapolis is definitely a stressor on the engines, but...
Oh, yeah, and you will definitely see these guys stressing out their transmissions today. If this race has a lot of yellow flags, don't be shocked if we see more guys blowing engines. You know, they got to go all the way down to second gear. I think it's second or third gear on the start of the restarts, and you know they'll be shifting all the way up to sixth gear. So a lot of downshifting and upshifting, and definitely when they go into pit road, because 60 miles per hour to hit that cone, and it will be insane to say the least when they come right off of turn 4 and they have to go to pit. I'll tell you the least. Yeah, I don't know if you saw, but when I was out there doing a little test lap, I hit the brakes early because that was an issue of mine during practices. I could not really get that car slammed right out on the brakes without almost wiping out. So it'll be tricky for some of these more, less experienced drivers in the field.
Indeed. Indeed. I've gone ahead and pulled up the spotter guide. I do have to say on this, a lot of great schemes were created during this entire month of June and also in May.
June, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, we got trouble. Williams spun around and got turned in the back.
The question is, will
Will they be able to continue?
Is it bad?
I wonder. I will look at this really quick here. It appears that the number 20 of Corey Williams.
I just
Let's
slowed
see.
down, got hit by
He
Justice.
he is slowing down, and I believe the 16 is trying
Didn't
to
check up in
notify
time.
drivers, and he just barely taps them and
Yeah,
spins them down the
just
track.
a little
and
bump.
Pretty decent lick into the side of the inside wall.
I don't think it's that bad though. Damage is kind of moderate in NR for this.
Yeah.
mode.
It is. It
So,
is moderate damage. You are right, DJ.
it's
It
coming
looks
down,
like he's gonna come down pit road while they take another lap to pace and have this damage fixed, because he did slam to the wall at about 40 to 50 miles per hour.
Now, my question is, at least for Williams, is this: is he going to? Will they shut the engine off? I know it's not a hard hit to the inside of the car, but that being said, though, there have been cases where even a light hit like that can cause some engine damage.
And I'd like to just address that. The way his car got hit, it was a very slight tap, and his car slid really slow, but it slid down really directly to the inside wall and hit basically square. If that car had hit the wall, had gone down the track at a less severe angle, he probably would have just spun around a little bit in the grass, but it was at such a direct spin down the track with the grips these cars have. It sent him straight down the track, and then once he got in the grass, it just sent him sliding into the wall. And he is coming back out on the racetrack. It looks like he will probably start at the tail as these guys head into turn 3, getting ready to take another shot at this race, and this is probably the last shot they will get.
Yep. As you see, they're all formed 3 wide. It's pretty organized. You see definitely the spacing amount. I think they're a lot more careful this time. And here they go for the green flag here for the SRA Indy 500. We are underway.
Brandon Lawson puts a little bit of a move, but that may be a bit of a suck up by Brandon Hawkin in the 98. Here they go off into turn 1.
And I'm just watching the back of the pack here, guys. No transmission problems this time around. Everybody up to speed, up to 6th, 5th gear. And mostly already single file all the way around.
Well, I did notice when we were going into the short shoot that Shane Sides did slap the wall a little bit. Either Shane Sides or Henry Nova. Luckily, not enough damage that will probably slow him down to the point. And for the first lap, everything's clean, but tight pack racing is already forming.
And Brandon Lawson's going to lead the first official lap of the event. We look behind him. You've got Brandon Hawkins, 2nd, Corey Carpenter in 3rd, Derek Justice 4th, and Randall Coleman actually looking for that position right now in 5th place. Looks like that bottom line, maybe the move was a bit late, and that's going to stuff Randall down to the inside.
Derek Justice swings up, swings down, and evens himself out. Down into the corner they go. Side by side, battle for 5th place.
And then you see a couple drivers using that single file line here. A lot of them are trying to take it nice and easy. You also see a couple people running near the back of the pack. Obviously, some of them qualified back there. So I think a couple of them are going to also take it really in a more of a conservative route. As of right now, there you see Derek Justice continuing a bit fall ways back in positions here, but it looks like they're going to sell themselves down here in the early stages. Talk about an impressive feat here for these drivers so far.
Big long pack of cars reaching speeds of 220 miles an hour. Swinging it down into the corner, hoping it all sticks to the track surface. Ooh, a bit of a wiggle there in the middle part of the top pack.
And as these guys race up front, I see mostly about, it appears the first top 12 are closest right now in striking distance to the race leader. Obviously, we got a long race ahead of us. Fuel is expected to last anywhere from, I believe, 19 to 22 laps. So that is our expected pit window. And I've actually looked at the back of the field. Corey Williams was unable to catch off a pit road from fixing his damages. And it appears that Joseph Anesto has also lost the field on the start as far as draft goes. Seth Cole, Dylan Young, and Doug Denise just trailing at the very back, maybe hoping to be able to react quickly if there is an accident on the racing surface.
As we go back up through the field, side-by-side battle for 10th place. Sorry, 11th place. My apologies. Everyone more or less spacing out, but making those moves, making attempts to get down to the inside and make a move on the outside of this field.
You can see how tightly packed they are, though. If I looked at the rear camera of Brandon Lawson's car at some point, oh man, Corey Carpenter's on the bumper of that 41 there. These drivers, they are going to get aggressive probably near the second half of this race, but you see already some drivers shifting to the bottom of the racetrack. Brandon Hawken and Randall Coleman are on the few that are going down there, and Corey Carpenter's stuck up high.
Yeah, DJ, these guys definitely, they're all really tight. You actually look at the monitor, and the whole top 10 are all within a second of the race leader. Actually, yeah, the top 10. And they're all making moves. You know, these guys are bumper to bumper, and this is kind of dangerous, actually, I want to say the least.
Yeah, these cars, without a doubt, do not respond well to any type of bumping. One bump and you're either sent into the outside wall, the inside wall, or even worse, into the air.
Yeah, and these cars, they have a bit of a gray zone, a danger zone, because there's an invisible bumper on the back end, so you will hit their back bumper before you would actually hit it due to the way this mod is made.
Yep, the hit boxes in this mod is quite sensitive though, so you have to really be careful. It's really a risk versus reward here. If you can bump them just right, actually, you could give them a nice shot like you do with the Gen 6 car or a Truck Series car, you know how you do in Super Speedway Racing where you tandem. But you really need to be careful with the bumpers here, especially in this kind of mod with PTA physics and on the route, as well as, like I said, like you mentioned, these invisible bumpers in a way.
And just want to look at some of these drivers as we have a yellow.
On the track.
There is a caution
Massive
on the
crash.
track. Oh, and it looks like big trouble on the front straightaway.
Dylan Young's upside down.
Dylan Young is on his lid. He has been towed. Dylan Schwallenberg, Zach Krastowski, Tyler Stallhood, Doug Denise, Seth Cole might have perhaps been involved. And I was just about to talk about Jason Justice, who was one of the last to queue in. He started 25th. Now, of course, with drivers being subbed and EOLs happening, he was able to start higher up, but he is the highest of the last guys to qual in on bump day. He is 13th place right now.
Let's go ahead and rewind and see what exactly happened here here to bring out this yellow. Oh wow! Looks like John Wall on the 59. Something happened to him.
He bumper grabbed off the 43, I believe, and he hit that wall hard. And
yeah,
he
gets
pit road area too. And Dylan Schwallenberg, he tried to avoid the swerving STP car, and he just had no place to go.
Oh my!
Dylan Young. Did you see Dylan Young in the air in the back? He got.
I just finished watching John Wall's incident. That probably is gonna end his night. That tore the nose up of his car pretty badly.
Yeah. You saw in the back there, Blake. Dylan Young actually got a tap from Seth Cole, and you saw his car get in the air in the background. He had a massive blowover, and then he hit the Zach Krotowski.
Oh, wow.
And, wow, talk about a wild wreck for Dylan Young and a lot of drivers there. I think John Wall's car, like you mentioned, is probably done for the day. He did slam that pit road wall a ton.
Yeah, guys, and while you're looking back there at Dylan Young, I was checking out what happened to Tyler Stallhood, and it looks like when he got bumper grabbed off of John Wall, his car got loose. He tried his best to save it, but it ended up coming up across the track into Dylan Schwallenberg. And then Zach Krastowski just hit the brakes to avoid, and he spun out into the outside wall.
Nothing you could do.
And you're just at these high speeds. You hit these brakes, and apparently the way the brakes are reacting on these cars setup, and it's being rather difficult to hit the brakes without wiping out. But definitely Zach Krastowski actually went flying in the air as well as Dylan Young. But all these guys involved, I'd say John Wall, Dylan Young, I would guess that their races are done. But definitely aerodynamic damage for Zach Krastowski, Dylan Schwallenberg, and Tyler Stallhood.
So drivers are going to be headed down into the pit lane. Those
I think we
who
just finished
will,
them, actually.
yeah, those who will be coming out or staying in, we will see who may be retiring from the event.
It appears
Nobody.
that Bobby Jones has decided to stay out. Not sure if this is strategy. It is indeed. He is coming
Topping
to
off.
pit. He is coming to pit this time by. So strategy, maybe leading a lap, and not that it really matters, and coming back down pit road, as it appears that Brandon Hawken in the 98 will inherit the race lead. As this pace car is going to zoom around this track 100 miles an hour, so you got to be in and out really quick to avoid being lapped down. And Dylan Schwallenberg
Is the first official retirement of today's event.
Yeah, Dylan just had no luck. First start, transmission issues. Second start, nowhere to go. Nothing he could have done in either situation. The 43 just got loose, and he just wiped up right across in front of him, and he had nowhere to go, no time to react.
Now, if I am led to be correct, they will be restarting, I assume, in a single file line. Is that to be assumed?
I believe so, that they are restarting single file. I'm not sure what the spacing distance will be. It looks like these guys aren't going to try and stay close to the pace car too much.
Well, lights are off on the pace car, so they will be going green this time around.
No, they are still
They're
on.
still on, actually.
Do you,
Good.
do,
Oh.
do you have the SRA pace car or the default?
Should be the SRA.
Okay, I didn't know.
I think it is the Indianapolis one. I don't know.
Even so,
I'm
the lights would still
looking
be
and I'm
on.
Yeah.
the lights are going back and forth. I'm like, oh. Lights are off
they
now
are.
this time though, so they will be going back green. So perhaps on another yellow, we will be able to maybe get a chance to talk to Brandon Lawson. It looks like Doug Denise, Joseph Ernesto, Corey Williams, and Seth Cole had been accidentally lapped. They will be allowed to go past the pace car and get back at the tail of the field. Dylan Young is actually warping in and out really badly right in front of third place of Derek Justice. That is a bit of a dangerous situation. Not sure if he is supposed to go to the tail of the field or not, but I don't think he can see anybody.
It's a driver's decision, actually, whether to be in the back or stay up there. It's really a lap car's will.
Zach
Usually most
Krastowski-
people will stay in the back.
It appears Zach Krastowski will also be going around, and they have added a lap on the caution. Not sure if there are communication issues with the 14. It appears he will be going by the leaders this time. We'll see if the lights do come off. Pace car
they extended the caution, so.
Pace car is like a whole corner ahead of the field.
I think they're trying to get distance, for the acceleration point, when they go green. That's why the pace car has such a big gap over the rest of the field there.
And the lights are back off. Looking through the top 10, leading this race is one of, I believe, 2 drivers in the field that are from Canada. Brandon Hawken is a kart racer from Ontario, and he qualified in second place. He's 19 years old, and he YouTube chat does not allow it. But that is who you're looking at in the race lead. Second place, Corey Carpenter. Third place, we've got Derek Justice, Randall Coleman fourth, and Justin Malillo in fifth. That rounds out the top 5, DJ, if you want to talk about 6th to 10th really quickly here before we go green.
Yep, you got Rick Johnson in the 6th place position here. Then you got David Schillenhouse in 7th. Brandon Lawson in 8th. Then you got Austin LaPlante in 9th. And Noah Carmichael rounding out your top 10 here as the cars are going to approach the acceleration point zone. You can take it away from here.
Well, here we go. They're going to get ready to go green as they come into turn 4. Hammer down on the front stretch. Increasing in speed, 160, 170. Green flag is back out for the 500.
Yeah, great start there by Brandon Hawk, and he already had a massive gap over Corey Carpenter there. Talk about close comfort there for the rest of the field in the back. You can tell, probably if you look at the back half of the field, some of them are scrambling to get around and trying to catch up, and some aren't going to be so lucky here in this early going here at Indianapolis. But already, there you see Derek Justice going for the second place spot on Corey Carpenter. Can he make it work? He decides to back off.
Well, they've certainly got a lot of laps remaining. We're only on lap 16 out of 128, so there's a lot of time to pick your moves and pick your poison on how you want to execute a pass.
Yeah, guys, and as you guys focus up front there on the stream, I'm just letting viewers out there know that there are cars with damage. They have lost the pack, and they include Dylan Young, John Wall. Zach Krastowski actually seems to have the most damage out of them all. Seth Cole, I believe, is just voluntarily at the back, trying not to get in anyone's way. And Tyler Stallherd, Joseph Ernesto, and Doug Denise, I believe, the top car out of those involved right now at the back of this field.
In the meantime, a solid move by the 95 of Corey Carpenter as he will now take the lead. Derek Justice now follows in his wake. A bit of a strong move by Carpenter there as Hawken had to flush up to the outside of the wall. And here they go down to the front stretch. Big move.
That's Randall Coleman going for second place and maybe looking at the lead.
Yeah, side by side as they go into the corner. Now, is he going to get chopped off? That's the grand question.
Well, can he maintain speed? Does he have to help us? They are almost 3 wide. That is Rick Johnson moving from bottom to back into the outside lane.
I think what he's trying to do there is trying to choose which draft is better. Maybe he can get a better slingshot here as he's stuck on the outside line. Though, look at Randall Coleman strong on the bottom lane here. Corey Carpenter holding strong on the outside line. Good defending for the 95. He's got plenty of help on that outside line. You can definitely tell how double file this first pack of cars are going.
It's roughly like five. It's about 5 to 6 cars back where the 2 wide racing stops. But man, just how tight it can be. And good grief at how dangerous this can also get. That's the grand payoff.
Yeah, guys. We got, last time by the top 14 were all within a second of the race leader. And this was a tight-knit 21-car field. I've actually looked at the back here. Nathan Emoto and Greg Irwin have lagged back. They do not like what they're seeing. Shane Side, Zach Buchanan, Dylan Poteet, among others involved in that incident, are trailing at the back of the field. They do not want to get involved in another wreck.
Right now, the fastest run of the race is currently held by Jason Justice in the 16 with a 41.368. And Randall Coleman's going to get his nose just barely out in front.
This is some tight racing. You've got Corey Carpenter, Derek Justice, Rick Johnson working on the high side with Randall Coleman, and David Shieldhouse, one of our sub-drivers, had to start at the tail, already worked his way up into the top 5, maybe with some pit strategy and some great racing skills. That is your 2016 FTF Cup champion there in the 28 car.
Yep.
As we roll back through the field, certainly, even though there are some drivers that are kind of spaced out a little bit, they're still fast. They can still run and jump in contention, but whether you want to do so right off the bat is up to the driver's decision. I noticed that John Poole, the third, dropped back a little bit. He's running at about 212 and climbing in miles per hour, so maybe a little bit of a strategic move. I think one of his teammates might have gotten by him, and he's just going to bide his time until he can get back up there and really contend.
Same thing with Zach, but same thing with Greg Irwin. A couple of others back there, Shane Side, Zach Buchanan, Dylan Poteet, one of the few JB cars running near the back of the field here. It looks like they're trying to play a bit of a conservative strategy here, maybe hope for a big wreck here at most.
And Randall Coleman leading that time by. Sorry, Blake.
Perfectly fine. The one thing that I was going to definitely say is I've seen pack racing like this at super speedways, at Talladega and Daytona. The only difference is they had bumpers. In this case, they are none. So whatever happens can turn into an absolute mess.
Oh, yeah. I keep looking back to Derek Justice in that 31, man. He is right on the back end of the 95 going down the straightaways. It is insane, the skill and the risk that these drivers are putting on, man. I mean, risk and reward I don't think has ever been so big at a track in such cars.
I'm
as these
noticing.
ones.
I'm noticing something as they're rounding the corners. I'm noticing that Jason Justice is dipping his tires below the white line. Now, while this will definitely help for speed and arcing around the corner just a little bit faster, if you get your tires on that rumble strip down at the bottom of the racetrack, you are guaranteed that the rear end is going to break out and you will lose it. And how close and how packed in they are will probably equal a massive accident.
Yep, one small mistake can lead to a massive catastrophe here, as it looks like Zach Krotowski coming down pit lane, but Randall Coleman getting a nice shot from Corey Carpenter. He's still holding on to that lead. Great job for the number 25 here, as there you see the number 28 of David Shieldhouse, I believe, down at the bottom of the track. They're going for the race lead as well. We're going to expect a lot of lead changes in the pack. You see Noah Carmichael also down that inside line. You see that green number 88, the Brian Clausen DW12 car down that bottom lane. So a lot of drivers choosing the line they want to be in here in this race early on. We still have lots of time left, but you can definitely tell how many cars are using that white line and how many aren't, and that could determine how much grip there could be in the future.
Now, the one thing that I did want to state was, as we've seen, there's a couple of cars that will shift up from the bottom line to the top to try and get just ever so inches and inches of extra draft that they can get out of it. What I also see as a bit of an intimidating move is the 28 now moves by maybe half a car length. Side-by-side battle, almost really contact.
Close between Randall Coleman and David Shieldhouse. They almost, that would have taken out half this pack. I mean, that was insane. And to go back to what you were saying, Blake, about those rumble strips, it'll do one of two things. I mean, it'll either send them that back end whipping around, but if you hit that with your front end, it might just shoot you back up onto the track. And if you got someone right next to your door, that is not going to work. Yeah, but they are approaching Dylan Young, who is slow.
That damage has really hurt him quite a lot there. The 14 has been up to pace ever since then. Yeah, it's going to be hard to choose which lane to be in, because if your lap car, it's going to be quite a living hellhole to be there, because both lines are occupied right now.
Indeed, and I would not be surprised if they asked him to go down pit road, because that is what Zach Krostowski did. I believe his team told him, "Hey, leaders are coming. They're side by side, man. They're not gonna hit the brakes for you." And I think he just decided to come down pit road, and he is actually retired from the race. So Zach Krostowski has retired from the race due to not being up to speed. And this is going to be really interesting right here. I don't know what to expect right now.
I'm kind of surprised that IndyCar officials have not told him to use the service strip to let the leaders get by. Or, as they head into the back straightaway, he may just drop it down to the very bottom lane as best as he can to stay out of the way.
There's no time. There's no time to even hit the brakes to get on the access road. The leaders are just going to have to get around them.
He's going to take the high lane. That's going to put him 3 wide. This could be so dangerous. Young into the outside wall. This is now going to break up the pack a little bit, and I'm sure that a lot of drivers on the lead lap are very, very hot under the collar for that move.
I don't think so. You can't really control much as a lap car, like I mentioned earlier. You can't really. I mean, also it's not really the best spot to really encounter the lap traffic either. But, I mean, I don't think it really spread the pack up here. They still have, like I said, a long ways to go. We have more than 100 laps left. So.
I would agree, DJ, because I would say it would have been a problem if they caught him on the front or the back stretch, but they got him right as they went into turn 3. So it really did not affect them too much. You know, he was able to go all the way up next to the wall and let all of them that were too wide right on by. As I believe we are going to be closing in on pit stop soon. We're coming to lap 29, and I believe we had our first caution around lap number 6.
Yeah, around so. Race we had that caution.
So 21 laps of fuel was the average. I'd expect these guys in at least in the next 5 laps.
And the key rules for pitting in this type of car is, number 1, getting slowed down just enough and not getting run over headed into pit lane. Number 2, when you are approaching your pit box, you do not want to slide through. That means that you'll have to shift the car back into reverse and hope that you can be able to service your car. I will honestly admit, during my practice runs for this event, I had many pitting issues where I would slide through my pit box or just miss my pit box entirely due to the high packs. But with 33 cars on this field, now shrunk down to 31, I can guarantee you it is going to be as busy as a beehive going down in pit lane.
And as we approach green flag stops, David Shieldhouse, with help from Noah Carmichael, has made it into the race lead. You can see that bottom line actually pushing ahead of the high line as you mentioned it. Jason Justice putting those left side tires, really the only one putting those tires below that white line in the corners, as he's up to P3 on the board. And these guys just holding really in the middle as they will catch the 59 of John Wall. Surprised this car is still on the racetrack. You know, DJ, you talked about it in pre-race. Moderate damage, but he had such a hard lick to the inside wall. I'm surprised he's even hitting over 200 miles an hour.
I think they did. Well, yeah, I think I gotta agree with that. I think they have engine damage, though, unfortunately, for that number 59. That's why I think John might come down pit lane. We're gonna have to wait and see yet again. Remember, we saw what happened with the case with Dylan Young. They encountered him in a corner, but I think this time around they'll encounter him in a straightaway. So this could be quite interesting to see how these drivers are gonna meet this number 59 yet again. Not John Wall again, but lap traffic, to say so the least.
And I'm getting a report, guys, that the 93 of Rick Johnson is dropping back. He has had reported a few issues with his steering. So perhaps if they're getting close to pit stops, maybe wanting to drop back and not be caught in a high side situation, as now it looks like the leaders are single filing it out. So pit stops, I would say, are definitely approaching as they pass the 59 of John Wall into turn 3, just like they did with Dylan Young.
Oh, Derek Justice in the wall. Derek Justice in the wall. Green flag is still out, but oh my, this can be a dangerous proposition. Now the grand question is, did he hit it hard enough that he now has suspension damage?
I think he smacked it pretty hard, though, into turn 3. I think it was probably a bit of a... They made some contact. I don't know who...
And I will look at this right now for you guys. You guys stay live. I'm looking. It looks like the 75 of the Tanamoto just got a bit sideways into the corner. His back end slides around, gets the 31 of Derek Justice, and it sent him pretty square into the outside wall. He slaps it at about 190 miles an hour. He was able to get it mostly straight, but he nailed that wall. Right now, it looks like he is still up to speed, but definitely probably some slight draft damage to the right side of that car.
And as we mentioned, Derek Justice as well. This race has also seen a lot of brothers attempt and also are racing today, at least in the beginning setup. The Samsel brothers tried to make it. They unfortunately did not. Chris and George Harder-Felix did attempt this race. They gave their rides to other drivers. And just plenty of friends and family just all around here this weekend. And many, many changes over this speed weeks. But both Justice brothers, good racers, and both trying to get themselves an Indy 500 win today.
Yeah, we talked about Derek just hitting the outside wall. His older brother, Jason, sits up there in second. Jason actually gave us some pretty good info about himself heading into this race. He's from Kentucky, and he has about 180 wins and over 20 Blazing Pedal championships. And the most notable accomplishment, I'd say, is he is a 6-time broadcast race winner, including the 2016 NRT 499. And
Quite
that race,
impressive feat.
that race had, I believe, over 100 entries. They did multiple heat races for that to whittle it down to, I believe, a 36 or 40 car field. I'm not entirely 100% sure what the number was.
It's absolutely amazing seeing David Shieldhouse up there. He's an accountant for the solar energy company in Tucson, Arizona, showing his marks and showing his power today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, and we talked about him being a sub-driver for George Harder-Felix. He had to start at the back with skill and I think pit strategy under that caution. He's made his way to the front as they will catch the 55 of Seth Cole here, I believe maybe around the front straightaway to entering turn 1. His car not damaged, just lost the draft.
The one thing that does worry me, there are some racers who have solid internet connections, and some can be a tiny bit sketchy. Looking at Joseph Weaver, I've seen his car dart around a little bit, And I can't tell if that's going to be a hindrance to, especially the guys behind.
And one driver we haven't really talked about much in this race is Nick Gunther in the number 07. The F-Zero. You can tell if you're any Nintendo fan here, the F-Zero machine running up there, the Blue Falcon, there we go. Running in the 4th spot, he's made his way up to the front of the pack. He stayed out of trouble so far to that big wreck on lap number 6 from what I recall. Nick Gunther doing a fine job there. You see Philip Kraus not too far behind with Austin LaPlante and company. And you can tell how close they get to that inside wall there, that pit entrance. Imagine somebody getting stuck in there. That could be horrendous.
Oh, there's a hit! There's a hit!
Pull hard into the wall. I was expecting that. He is up on his lid. He has no control of these cars.
Oh no! Big crash! Buchanan, I think.
Zach Buchanan is around. I saw
Shane Sides.
Shane Sides.
Doug Denise.
Oh
Greg
boy!
Irwin had nowhere to go.
He locked up the brakes just trying to avoid it and just ended up in the path.
And Schwallenberg, unfortunately, involved as well.
Schwallenberg's already out, but
Schwallenberg's retired.
Let's take a look at that incident. Let's go on board and see what exactly he saw.
Oh, Greg Irwin had no time, guys. I'm watching this right now. He went into turn 1, and he went high.
I think it was a netcode issue there. They kind of really hit it all,
Greg
actually.
Irwin went high, and he tried hitting the brakes, but he got it right into the wall, and he just got stuck.
I think that initial wreck was more of a netcode wreck because they didn't really hit anything. It probably was the hitbox,
Oh, yes.
too.
And DJ, I think I know exactly what it was. You know, we talked about some keyboard drivers that are in the field, such as, Rick Johnson, one of the keyboard warriors. I was actually watching when the leaders came off of turn 4, Seth Cole. I think his assists were keeping him closer to the line. He wasn't really able to get out of the way of the leaders right away. And he just goes down into turn 1, and I think he was trying not to wreck his car, and he just comes right down and netcodes into Joseph Weaver, and it just sent his car right up into the wall.
A massive impact, though.
Up over onto the lid, and Seth can't do anything. He's on his lid. He's just stuck next to the wall, hoping no one's going to hit him. But Greg Irwin had absolutely nowhere to go, and he just nails him. That pushes Seth's car so far ahead that Shane Sides, who had cleared him, gets involved, and then we see Zach Buchanan and Doug Denise self-spin, avoiding this mess.
Kind of reminds me of the wreck that happened to Mike Conway in the IndyCar series back in like 2013 or 2010,
There was that
I believe.
09, I believe, 14 in turn 1, and it was a pretty bad one as well. Remember that wreck whatsoever.
So, with that being said, and the yellow being out, this gives everyone a solid chance to come into the pits right now, make their service, make their stops. I do have kind of a feeling that Seth Cole may not be continuing this event.
He is not officially retired just yet. Drivers going down pit road, and we're just waiting to see who is going to come out first.
Brandon Hawken is lucky because he is at the end of pit road, but nope, the 28's going to be out.
Shieldhouse will come out first. Jason Justice, Joseph Weaver, Nick Gunther, and Philip Cross are the top 5 off of pit road, and you've got LaPlante, Coleman, Natan, Noah Carmichael, and Brandon Hawken. That is the apparent current top 10. As the 01 driver of Joseph Ernesto has lost contact with the server. Not sure if he will come back in or not.
Henry Nova is a driver that we have not talked about much today.
Toro Rosso.
Yeah, in the Toro Rosso for number 99. I've raced against Henry for about a little over a year now. Solid guy. Unfortunately, has not managed to win many races due to some internet issues, but a little bit of information on the guy. He is 16 years old from Los Angeles. He was the IORL Freedom 100 winner, and he is the IMRC Drag Racing Champion. Interesting credentials for the driver of the 99. And I kind of have a feeling with how well he's run thus far and just managed to avoid all of the incidents, I think he could be a sleeper. I think he could maybe do really well and maybe pull off a win here.
And I believe, Blake, that we are trying to get in touch with driver Brandon Lawson for a bit of a in-race report. DJ, could you help us out with that really quickly here? Trying to see if we can dial into the 41 cars radio. And do you hear us, Brandon?
Yeah, I got you.
What's it like down there, man? Doing pretty good so far from what we can see up here. Been pretty crazy.
Oh, it has been. It's been really crazy. I mean, I'm scared every lap. You know, we were me, Justin, and Tom, and John Poole. We were racing up there up front, and we decided to come to the back and stay a little bit behind the pack, and that's what we did. And I'll tell you one thing: it was a lot better than being up there in that chaos. They were all over the place, racing hard, like every lap was the last lap. And I don't know, you gotta be there at the end for these things. So we're gonna chill a little bit.
Yeah. Did you see anything there going into turn one? Like, what happened there with the 55?
It looks like the 55 crowded the leader there a little bit going down into the corner. I think the leaders all kind of misjudged it because we had passed 2 lap cars before him, and he didn't give them as much room as everybody else did, and they got together up there, and that's just what happens. You know, you touch these Indy cars, you know, it could be a disaster.
All right, Brandon. Well, thank you for your time. Hopefully, we'll be able to contact you maybe later in the race and after the race. You're getting ready to go back green, so we'll leave you to do your thing.
All right, appreciate that, Zach.
No problem. Just hearing there from the number 41 DC Solar car of Brandon Lawson, and it appears that Derek Justice has also lost connection to the server. He has reconnected as these guys get ready to go back green flag racing. David Shieldhouse on the point.
And as of right now, we also have another retirement. Joseph Weaver in the 60. He is also retired from today's event.
Yep, and the green flag is back in the air. David Shieldhouse leads him down over Jason Justice. We also have Nick Gunther there in the 3rd spot, as well as Philip Krause and Austin LaPlante. Austin LaPlante doing an impressive job here in the Duracell 42 there. They are all impressing this field right now. And talk about a lot of 3-wide action. Maybe they can get there once you get a couple laps in, you know.
Definitely a close battle between the 28 and the 16, as cars is now starting to wiggle around a little bit. 16 trying to draft as hard as he can off the 28. Maybe do attempt to make a move onto the outside, and that he does, but he's going to fall back into place. Followed behind him, another move to the outside and falling back in. Possible move by Philip Krause to the outside of Nick Gunter.
Yeah, well, it looked like they were trying to do is actually do a common racing trait when you enter the corner is do a little bit of a diamond. You see what Philip Krause is doing there, demonstrated in turns 1. Then you can get that exit speed there as he gets that run. Nick Gunter can't quite make the move on him quite yet, though, obviously. But you can get such a great exit speed there, and that's, you see, there's already a battle for the lead there. It looks like David Shieldhouse actually kind of chops off the number 16 there for quite a bit there. But already you see a lot of drivers in the middle of the pack to the back, all looking for some action.
Number 28 continues to hold out in the front as we go through the field, looking to see what the big moves and big moments are. Brandon Hawkins falling back, unfortunately. I don't know if he may have a minor issue or if he's just trying to save his stuff for the end of the event.
I believe that might be the case there. I think a couple of them continuing to stay near the back of the field there. You see Henry Nova stuck up high, but a lot of those drivers trying to gain spots down the low sides. You still see a little bit of a second pack of cars that are still trying to basically conserve their tires and fuel, but tire wear isn't really that much of a factor here, knowing Indianapolis, but fuel is definitely one of those issues as a window. But also you see a couple more different new faces up near the front of the pack here, or at least trying to get up to the front, like John Poole in the 3rd and the number 2 there, Dylan Poteet in the 12. Tom Sylvain was near the back of the field in the first half of this race. He still is, but he's running 11th at the moment there with just a little running in 10th.
Yeah, DJ, and looking back at our race data, I was looking at what the fuel usage was, and it appears that I might have been mistaken It looks like it might only be a normal 1 times fuel and tire wear from what my data shows me, because I don't know how else they would have gone 30 laps with all that gas. But I guess maybe I was also maybe a little bit mistaken. They might have been just about ready to pit. But looking at Derek Justice, who reconnected, he is now a lap down. He is right in front of the leaders, just coming off of 2 as they come off of 1. Now he is up to speed, so they will slowly close into him. Derek is probably going to have to hope for a quick caution so he can take a wave around. Dylan Young, Seth Cole, also at the tail of the field as Stallhood, Wall, Irwin, Bordeaux, and Buchanan from 22nd on back draft together behind the lead pack, as Corey Williams has made his way into that lead pack, fighting now to get to the front. And it seems we've had Joseph Ernesto join back into the race.
Welcome back, Ernesto.
Shieldhouse continues to hold his lead as Jason Justice, my apologies on the slip, tries to make a move to the outside, inside, outside, inside, as they go down to the back straightaway.
As it appears that there may be a driver swap going on with the 01 team. We had heard possibly that John Cittadino would start the event. I'm not sure if he started it and he is now switching out for Joseph Ernesto, or if it is the other way around. But nonetheless, difficulties apparently getting that done, as Shieldhouse has a bumper full of fellow Vast House Racing driver Jason Justice. I just looked at that, and I don't think you could fit a piece of paper between those 2 cars.
That's how close they are there, Rogers. Yes, indeed. And look at it, how single file this pack is. It shows really a lot of the talent and really more of the common courtesy. And they know they have a bit of a distance to go, and they still could see some potential green flag pit stops in the air here. So they really need to be careful and communicate extremely well, because communication is extremely important here in Indianapolis. Because if you communicate, you tell them you got to pit too late, like the signal, you could end up getting a wrecked race car as a result. And I think that's not what a lot of these drivers want to see, especially when they want to enter pit lane at such a high rate of speed, and all of a sudden, you have to slow down around turns 3 and 4, mostly out of turn 4 to get that speed limit there, because you do not want a penalty at most.
Well, eventually these guys are going to want to drop down the hammer, because we've only got 78 laps to go. 50 are completed thus far. So as to who will be able to make a strategic move, whether it's through pit strategy or maybe through some sheer luck and a little bit of drafting help, maybe even some team orders, we may be able to see something shake up here pretty soon.
Yeah, Blake, and as these guys slowly catch Derek Justice, as we said, Derek is up to speed. His car's fine, just some connection issues. We should see him fall in line with these guys as, as you said, long way to go, 78 laps. They're just running single file. They were doing just that when they approached the lap car of Seth Cole, and some things just don't go the way you want them to. But maybe this time around they will stay single file until they probably get to, I'd say, with 21 cars in this pack, maybe around 20 to 30 laps to go is when they're going to put the hammer down.
Down to the front stretch they go. Shieldhouse still leading the event. And we do have a car going down pit lane.
Dylan Young, looks like.
Not sure if this is a scheduled stop or if the 14 will be exiting the event, but perhaps we'll see right now. I'm going to keep track. You guys keep track of the leaders. As I sit down here, I'm gazing down pit road. And it looks like it's a scheduled pit stop for the 14 team.
So some interesting strategy on the 14 crew. Will it pay off in the long run? That's the grand question.
Like a lap down, so I don't think they have much to lose. I think they have pulled off actually just recently. So Dylan Young out of the event, as it seems. But look how dicey this field of cars are going to get here. A lot of them really scramble to get to the bottom of the racetrack there. You do not want to lose positions here at Indianapolis, especially at a single file train. And here they come towards Derek Justice. Justice stays high, yields to the lead lap cars. And talk about a common courteous move for Derek Justice, classy move for him, as there you see they're catching Joseph Ernesto down the inside of the racetrack.
So he's coming off pit road, and I believe we missed this, guys, but Joseph Weaver has retired from the race, and I'm guessing that was during the yellow. I'm not sure if
Previous
he
yellow,
had
yeah.
if he had damage from his contact with Seth Cole or if he was one of the guys that was spinning, but I thought he was the one that had made contact with the 55, so not sure what the deal is there from the 60 camp. But still 29 cars on the track as Joseph Ernesto has finally made his way onto the track, or not sure if that is John Cittadino. As we know, we have no idea. But 14 laps down is the 0-1 machine.
Little bit of a move there by the...
Oh wow! Someone just
Hit
hit that grass.
I think that was the plant actually. Also,
I
the plant
believe,
in the 42
yes,
there.
yes.
The checkup behind him, so that you can tell how
Look
these guys are
at how
doing it
much
pretty well.
there is a whole car length, almost 2 car lengths between the 42 and the 88 from him making that small mistake and nicking the grass into the corner. But see, he's already caught back up due to the draft, and holy crap, what a run he got.
Single file for the most part in through the pack. Little attempts and moves by the 41 of Brandon Lawson to maybe make it a little bit too wide, but nothing thus far has occurred. Lawson takes the corner just a little bit wide there, but still holds it down into the corner and manages to keep stick and keep grip.
Yeah, man, and I'm looking back here where Derek Justice has fallen in line behind 12th place Dylan Poteet and in front of 13th place Shane Sides. He was sitting on the high side, maybe trying to let all the lead lap cars get by, but it looks like, as I think he's still trying to let the lead lap cars go by him, but they are not. They're not really trying to pass him. So I think Derek will just hold his line here. A little side-by-side action. Randall Coleman, Rick Johnson, Doug Denise, and Bobby Jones running closer to the outside wall.
John Poole III and Dylan Poteet running near identical race cars in the 2 and 12 respectively for Poole and the 12 of Poteet. Both racing for JB Motorsports, hoping to make their move. The Penske, so to speak, of this series.
And while we're watching these guys run single file, as I see some guys stuck in and out, let's talk about 4th place Philip Cross in that 27 very last minute entry into this field, subbing in for Victor Vallee. As I look for his information, Philip is 17 years old. He's turning 18 in about a month. He is a 2-time ISCA Formula E champion, and he another notable accomplishment, he is a Nebula Racing League winner and a championship runner-up. So we've got some very interesting substitute drivers here that have made this field. Interesting accomplishments there for the 27 who sits in 4th place. And I'm going to continue talking a bit there as Noah Carmack was peaking. Interesting detail about this 88 car. This was their original paint scheme they were going to head into with race practices due to number sign-up and paint scheme guidelines. The 88 team was forced to change their paint scheme, but since the team that had chosen that scheme for them did not make the event, administrators allowed them to come back to this green and black scheme in tribute to Brian Clausen.
I think earlier in the previous lap, I think I saw Shane Science hit the wall off of turn number 1. I think you saw maybe a bit of a checkup back there if you weren't that observant. But it looks like back now, looking back in present time, looks like David Schillhouse continuing to really lead the field here today. Been kind of more of the main front runners here with Jason Justice, typically up there as well. And you can tell how the different racing grooves these drivers are using. Like you said, like I mentioned, Philip Kraus kind of diamonding the corner there, making an arc. Try and get that exit momentum here on Nick Gunter there, with little to no success there, as they are encountering Seth Cole yet again.
Yeah, guys, and I talked about what caused that second caution with the 55, and I think all the drivers, and myself included, are hoping that does not happen again.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, to flip upside down like that and be a hazard, that's dangerous enough as it is. My biggest worry is, more than anything else, A netcode bump is not only instead of sending someone spinning up and into the wall, oh dear.
Carpenter had a late entry to turn 4, and he whipped that thing down and was almost dead sideways. And I did see Seth Cole was keeping it almost in the wall to make sure they got by, but holy crap, that 95 car, what a save. Ka-chow.
Oh man, they got a bit dicey out of turn 2 near the middle of the pack here. John Poole in the third had to check up for Derek Justice there, the lap car, and that led to a bit of contact between him and Austin the Plant in the 42. They could have wrecked there, and it could have been disastrous. Great driving by these drivers here in the IndyCar series. They are all doing a fantastic job so far. As really, it's been a really calm race actually. I thought it'd be a bit of a breakfast to be exact. That's just my honest opinion, but so far they've done a fantastic job. Here for the Indianapolis 500, David Shieldhouse, like I say, continuing the lead here over the rest of the field.
The one thing that does slightly worry me, just with how these cars are kind of like, just ever so slightly wiggling back and forth, when they go down the back straightaway and they get so close to the grass, I'm worried someone's going to accidentally go just a little bit too low, hook it into the grass. Best case scenario is they spin down towards the inside wall. Worst case scenario is they overcorrect it and trying to straighten it back up and shoot right back onto the racetrack in the process.
Yeah, man, and it looks like there is some smoke on the front straightaway. No caution lights are on. It must have been something on pit road. I did see some tire marks.
I think it might have been more of a lockup down pit lane.
I'm not sure entirely who it was, but that happened apparently. So we still have 21 cars and drivers here in the main pack. Tommy Bordeaux and Zach Buchanan trail by themselves. They've got Joseph Ernesto in there with them. Tyler Stallhood has fallen to 24th by himself. He is the final driver on the lead lap, so 24 cars total on the lead lap. Derek Justice up here in the main pack. He is 2 down. Seth Cole, John Wall also 2 laps down. As Greg Irwin has retired from the race, that perhaps might have been what happened. I'm going to see if I can look through my footage and figure out what happened as David Shieldhouse loses the race lead.
Yep, Jason Justice now to the point. Nick Gunther now up to the second place position, the runner-up spot. And look at that double file down that back straightaway into turn 3. They got a bit dicey there. They could have squeezed each other a lot worse than they could have. As Noah Carmichael now trying to take the 4th spot away from Corey Carpenter with help from, I believe, the number 98 there of Brady Falcon.
Just to cut in here really quick, guys, as you guys keep focus on the live action, I'm looking in here back at the replay, and it looks like Greg Irwin might have messed up turn 4 back on lap 61. He hit the outside wall. Joseph Ernesto followed him into the wall, had nowhere to go, and actually bumped the 8 down pit road. And Greg Irwin just tried locking it up, obviously a black flag, and he locked it up so hard that it spun him out into the inside wall. That's the smoke we saw, and tough break for a driver like Greg Irwin. You know, he's looking forward to this race. You know, he doesn't get to run much, and that was the end of his day. So misfortune for Greg Irwin, and that did not bring out the caution, of course, because it was down pit road.
And Greg Irwin's team being small, with him as the owner, a couple of interesting facts I was going to mention before we found that he had retired, and a salute to him. He is a first-class airman and a photojournalist stationed at the Kadena Air Base in Okinawa, Japan, and he is also a 2-time Blazing Pedals IndyCar champion. So it really sucks to hear that he's out of today's event, and sucks that happened with him and the 01 earlier.
As you see here, one of the Penske cars, the JB car to be exact, coming up into the top 10, that is Dylan Pote. He's actually now up to 5th. It looks like he's got a bit of a netcode issue, but not too savvy there, not too big. Happens every once in a while, but Dylan Pote now up to that 5th spot, another new name onto the track here at Indy.
And there's
we got one car warping in the back and into the wall.
He was up into the air. That is the 75 of Natanamoto.
Oh, and he better be quick, because
if the caution, there it's the caution
is out. Caution has come out. He is warping And he is still warping.
Let's take a real quick look.
I think that was the case of a warp wreck.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it was DJ. Because
you could tell.
I was focusing on the leaders, and all of a sudden...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was gone. I look at my replay. He had been gone from the time of the front straightaway. And I'm not sure where it was exactly, but he comes back in turn 2, and we see him wrecking up into the wall. And internet issues for the 75 team. Guessing maybe some aero damage, but that brings out our third caution of the race here on lap 68. Jason Justice is your race leader, with Nick Gunther second and Philip Kraus third, who was, from what I had seen, making some interesting moves there on the racetrack.
So Jason Justice will be our leader, as the cars will probably get ready to head down into pit lane. We have no idea when the next yellow will fly, so I'm thinking that everyone's pretty much going to make their move into pit lane. I don't know if they'll have enough gas or tires to be able to make it to the end, but there could be someone who may push the fuel game a little bit. And as it appears,
everyone but the lap car of Derek Justice will be coming in. And as they do come down pit road, they will be hitting the start-finish line, signaling 60 laps remaining. We're past halfway in this event. It was like lap 63, I believe. So these guys know that they've got 250 kilometers down, as this is a 500K race. And, they're halfway there.
We're going to step away for a few moments. We'll be back in just a bit. You are watching the SRA Indy 500K.
Oh, a big mess on pit road.
Holy crap. That is terrible.
Come back from commercial. Holy crap, what the heck just happened?
So we are back. Something big happened.
Jason Justice is going down reverse in pit road, and it appears... I'm looking here, see. Something with the 55 again.
Seth Cole tried to get in his pit stall.
He was hitting the brakes to hit his pit stall, and Jason Justice had nowhere to go.
Oh my goodness.
Natanamoto is up in the air. I'm looking at others involved here. Brandon Hoffman was in it.
So many cars.
Noah Carmichael.
I think also in the same fact, I think Seth Cole was also trying to slow down when he saw Nick Gunther come out of pit lane.
Yeah, but there's no...
But his stall was nearby too, so he just tried to stop for his pit stall.
He slammed the brakes.
Escalated so quickly, you can't really do much there. It's just the pit lane's so narrow.
I want to take a look at something. We're going to go on the roof cam of Henry Nova just to see what he sees as this... He almost got hit. If he got slight damage, then it was... If he got damage, it was very, very little, but the 27 just somersaults right over him.
Talk about an amazing angle for Henry Nova there in a close call.
I think something interesting we might want to look at. When Jason Justice got spun around, he said, screw it, I'm not turning around. He proceeded to exit pit road in reverse, and he almost boxed in Shane's sides right into the 30 of Tommy Bordeaux, who was in his pit stall. That is crazy. But Jason backed down to fix his damage. But we're hearing reports from Seth Cole's radio that he had hit the brakes because the 07 pulled out right in front of him. But just hitting the brakes here, these are insane mechanical achievements here that these guys put out onto the track. These things have insane acceleration. The brakes work amazingly. We've seen them work so well that they actually spin the car out. The car can't transfer all that momentum down the right way. And Seth Cole he hit the brakes and he just stopped. And, you're going 60 miles an hour down pit road. Nothing Jason Justice could do. And it looks like we are having an extended caution flag due to this pit road mishap.
What a crazy event.
And the leader is actually the 43 of Tyler Stallhood, who we know has damage.
And we just now see that Derek Justice has retired from the event. So sorry to hear that for the 31 team.
IndyCar rules, this isn't This isn't NASCAR. You don't get lucky dogs here in IndyCar, and he was just 2 laps down, and I bet he couldn't really find a point of taking the wave around. I'm gonna just make confirmation there. The official retired statement does say accident. I am looking here. It looks like he goes around. He does go around the pace car. Oh, wow. Guys, look at this. If you go to lap 69, Derek Justice is shifting up from 4th to 5th gear, and his engine blew up. Wow, he was getting one of his laps back, and the engine lets go on him. That is extremely disappointing for the 31 team. Oh, wow, that's...
Yeah, right. The move
awful.
from 4th to 5th in turn 2, it let go, and it let go hard. Wow. Just wow.
Well, looks like the 1-to-go signal is out here for the Indianapolis 500.
Yes,
Tyler
guys,
Stallhood,
and
currently your leader, though, over Nick Gunther, who's been running up front all day. Good run for the 07 team. We got to give a shout-out to Mr. Nick Gunther himself. He's doing fine up there.
Yes, DJ, and as these guys get ready to go back green, I'm going to see if it's possible for us to maybe get a quick interview with Derek Justice as they go back to the green. I'll keep you guys posted on that as you guys get ready to go to the green flag restart.
One interesting thing I did want to mention earlier, Tyler Stallhood did attempt to make a qualifying run in his number 7 machine. Just wasn't fast enough, and then at the last minute gets called up and is asked to race the 43. So he's racing that blue and red STP machine, trying to get it into victory lane today. A little bit of redemption for Stallhood.
We'll do it later.
Okay, it looks like right now we're not able to get in contact with Derek Justice, and we'll see if we can get him maybe after the race.
There we go, green flag back in the air. Tyler Stallhood leads over Nick Gunther. Gunther did not quite get going, and Brandon Lawson is pouncing on that 07. The Blue Falcon getting hounded by those cars right behind him. Look at David Shieldhouse there, and a bit of a bump grab there from the number 28. Talk about a close call as Nick Gunther's going to get passed for second here. He is going to get hounded.
The one thing that I do kind of wonder with just how many yellow flags... Oh! Stallhood slowed up for something. As Gunther is going to sling to the inside, does Stallhood have an issue?
Well, he was in one of those wrecks, Blake. Remember, we do know that he's got some aero or engine form of damage, and I don't mean to call out a driver's decision making, but I know Tyler probably still trying his best to win this. He appears to be up to speed for the most part, but that engine damage is just gonna affect him just a little bit in the draft through the corners. His acceleration mostly will probably be affected as Noah Carmichael trying to look to the outside. They're keeping up, but I'm seeing right now that the top 3 is pulling away.
I think you noticed the 12 car was up there at some point, but Dylan Poteet looks like he might have fallen out of the server. Talk about a tough break for the 12 machine. Dylan Poteet certainly is going to be rather disappointed on the radio after this one, but look at the battle for the lead here. Brandon Lawson getting a shove from David Shieldhouse on the outside line. 43 is Stallhood, definitely with engine damage as Noah Carmichael advances to the 4th spot. And Justin Melillo making his way back up in the field as well. He's inside the top 5 looking in.
The grand question up here at the front is it better to be on the inside or is it better to be on the outside? More momentum on the outside, but you're probably going to have a few more drafters down to the inside. As the 88's going to follow behind the 07 Nick Gunther. Here they go down into turn 3, side-by-side battle for 3rd, maybe 2nd place.
Yeah, no, we talked about the different lines pre-race. It seems that depending on the number of cars you got in a line on the inside and the outside, it's pretty even, but once you get a certain amount on either line, that line will prevail. As we've seen the middle line as David Shieldhouse clipped
that inside line
a bit, but he hurts himself, but he maintains 2nd place right now behind Brandon Lawson as Dylan Poteet has reconnected. Not sure. I had seen he had been giving a black flag for getting a wave around or something. Not sure if that was cleared before he fell out or if he's coming back into the server with that black flag.
Now, as these cars are swinging around the corners, I do wonder if there's just going to be a wrong move made by someone at just the wrong time that's going to end up causing such a sweeping big accident here up in the front.
Yeah, we've had some terrible crashes here in the past few wrecks just recently. As you saw what happened in pit lane there, Brandon Lawson currently leading. You see a couple of other drivers. Henry Nova now inside the top 10. You see the Toro Rosso car kind of making his way into the picture here. A lot of other drivers running near the back of the pack. There you see Corey Williams in the number 20 in that first pack. Bobby Jones has been rather quiet all race. He's also stuck back there. We want to mention him. Doug Denise got in an accident early on in the race as well. Shane Sides. And you mentioned Tommy Bordeaux in the number 30, the Williams, the Martini DW12 machine there, running in the back half of the first field here in what I believe is the Jaguar. I'm not quite sure. Or actually the Honda, my apologies there.
As Dylan Poteet is working his way off a pit road here, he'll be coming back onto the racetrack. Believe he will be several laps down. Just, never give up.
So on lap 78 out of 128. Laps are ticking down. Speeds are still just as strong as ever for the most part with all these cars. And still running single file all the way back through this field.
Yeah, we're down to 18 drivers as some guys that were up here in the lead pack have apparently lost the draft. And they include Jason Justice, Philip Cross, and Brandon Hawkin. Not sure if that pit road debacle was enough. I did not see Philip Cross get involved in that.
He actually flipped over, though. If you didn't see the replay.
He did? Oh, I thought
over.
I was misinformed. I thought that was the 75 of Natan. That was the 27 of Philip Kraus. My apologies. So these three that were involved in that, they seem to be mostly up to speed, but they appear to be about half a second off pace. So they're doing their best here just to maintain speed.
Brandon Lawson definitely not a stranger to leading this event as he qualified on pole. Speed is definitely something he's had all weekend long.
Yeah, you also need to depend on those that call it your teammates or even your closest friends can help you get a push here. If you have enough friends on the racetrack, people can assist you in getting that race lead, and you're definitely going to have to get some thank you cards later. But Brandon Lawson certainly getting the help from David Shieldhouse himself. Those two have been working together for quite a lot in this race, and they teamed up together to get around Nick Gunther in the 07 machine. As really those two cars looks like they're going to be inseparable for now until we see maybe some potential green flag hit stuff. So we got a car in the wall hard in the back, and I think that was John Poole III.
Indeed, you are right, and his car is really slow. I'm not sure that won't bring out a caution flag. And but they are still green. John has gotten it back going.
Let's take a real quick look, see what happened.
Something broke. I think it's wheel unplugged or something.
He goes down into turn 3. Sticks to the inside line, and then just all of a sudden straight into the wall.
Yeah, I think something broke on the 2 car there, and that was a massive impact into the outside wall there. Very reminiscent of the James Hinchcliffe crash we saw in real life in 2015.
I also look at it, and we saw in the Indy 500 qualifying how Sebastian Bourdais struck the wall. Definitely not as dangerous, but a hard hit there by Poole, unfortunately.
As I'm looking at live action here, guys, they will be approaching the 55 again. Hopefully he does the same thing he did the second time they caught him. But before that happens here, would like to just talk about Brandon Lawson. Don't believe we've even talked about the information.
And we got a crash in the back.
Oh, never mind.
Philip Kraus in the 27 has crashed out of turn 2. I'm not quite sure if the caution is coming out.
Caution has
Yellow flag
out.
has flown.
Yellow flag is
and there's
in
a crash
the air.
in turn 3. Noah Carmichael, Corey Williams. There is, I believe, Tommy.
Oh man.
Tommy Bordeaux, excuse me there, and I believe Doug Denise got in.
Oh, and Joseph Ernesto just spun and clipped Zach Buchanan, slowing down for the wreck, but not major damage there. You know, they were all on the brakes, so Buchanan and Ernesto able to not cause massive damage to their vehicles.
What a crazy event this has been.
Yeah,
and
we
Philip
had 2 separate wrecks that brought out the caution. I think actually the second one was really the one that kind of decided it all. Because we had a massive crash in turn 3. I think Blake might have seen the footage of what happened to the 27.
Yeah, he
I
has
did.
retired from the race, and it looks like it was just a netcode issue. He came down too far on the 43 of Tyler Stallhood, who really had nowhere to go, nothing he could do. And Kraus just misjudged. Stallhood did come up a bit, but he didn't give him a lot of room with the way this mod works, and Philip really nails the outside wall, and his car just rides along next to the safer wall. So a hard lick there for the 27.
Most likely a spotter error there from the 27.
And then you said we had an issue. Oh, yes, here. Oh, wow.
Corey Williams got in the back of Doug Denise there in turn 3.
Yes, I don't know if that was if they were all starting to slow down and Doug just started to slow down early.
Go.
Yeah, man, this is
hard impacts in the outside wall for the 3 of them. And
they
I
had.
think you mentioned with Onesta and Buchanan. I think Onesta might have slammed into the number 3 there, and Bordeaux on the brakes there. He just barely hits the 20. Yeah, I think, what I believe you're right. Onesta might have not checked up in time at the time of the caution. Either that or he got ran over from behind, but it looks like he just self-spun the car.
He just those brakes are just so good, man. We talk about it, but yeah, Bordeaux had nowhere to go, and he's going to get into the 20. But Corey, I don't know. Doug just started lifting maybe a bit too soon, and Corey was right on his back end, and just nothing, just
Corey.
Driver error.
Yeah, Corey unfortunately got the worst of it because his car went down and then shot straight into the wall. Almost like flat into it.
Yeah, and I'd say all of them got pretty good damage. I mean, Denise probably got it with his back end, but I know Carmichael definitely hit front end first into the wall, and that's got to be frustrating for him. Nothing he could do there. Just freak accident there.
And it really sucks because, I mean, as this race has kind of gone on and from the restarts, like, Corey's a great guy and he's definitely got a lot of heart and a lot of passion. So it sucks to see him get involved in this kind of just near the end of it.
So it looks like, looking back at the leaderboard here, obviously Philip Kraus, you saw the accident with him out of turn 2. He's out of the race here. He's pulled it behind the wall. And then you have the number 95 of Corey Carpenter out with an oil pressure.
I'm looking here, guys, and he's just pacing. He's pacing. I'm trying to figure out what happened here to Corey. I'm not seeing anything yet. Probably
it blew up when he came out. It blew up when he tried to come out.
So another engine problem here. Oh, it blew up on pit road.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Like, you saw a cloud of smoke from the 95. So definitely something wrong with Corey Carpenter's machine, and looks like the Rusty's machine's going to be out of this one.
More engine problems here. First, Derek Justice, now Corey Carpenter. 2 big names facing these engine problems, and these drivers got to wonder, do we have to be careful with how we're shifting? Because, that's the second engine to go on the day. And it has knocked out 2 giant contenders. So over that caution period, so far we've had Corey Carpenter and Philip Kraus get knocked out of the race. It looks like your new race leader is going to be David Shieldhouse. Austin LaPlante behind him in second as Brandon Lawson falls to third. Justin Melillo is fourth, and Nick Gunther is fifth.
Zach Buchanan, the number 3, down into the pits. Question is, will he be able to get back out and continue? And I just did a little bit of checks. There's 11 drivers that have been knocked out of this race. So 1/3 of this field has fallen out of the SRA 500K.
Yeah, Blake, and you look at the big names that have been knocked out. What about the less popular names that have not been knocked out? I'm just looking through here, 6th to 10th. Henry Nova is in 6th place, guys. That is huge. For that team. They queued top 24 on pole day. They got themselves locked into this. That Red Bull 99 machine sits in 6th place. We've got Tom Sylvain, another of our drivers from Canada, running in 7th. He was a late entry. He got in through bump day. They're up here in the top 10. And looking at the rest of the top 10, you've got Randall Coleman, Shane Sides, and then Rick Johnson that is in 10th place.
So as they lap around, still under the yellow flag,
Lights are just been called off, so it looks like we will get a restart. As I believe Dylan Poteet is supposed to be taking a wave around here. And yes, he is. There he goes. So David Shieldhouse will lead them to a restart with 41 laps remaining.
As we roll through the field, definitely a lot of strong drivers, kind of sleepers, honestly. Being honest, I really did not expect a lot of these guys would be running so well. Some of these mid-pack to far-pack racers that qualified in, or some of those that just barely made it in on bump day. But with how this race has been, we could very well not only see a very first-time winner, but we could also see a deep pack winner come in and win this thing.
Oh, it's never impossible. Even if you start from the back, you can still make your way to the front. Remember a couple of them starting at the back of the pack here, avoided all really the attrition around in the speedway, and a lot of them that were running near the back half of the field in the first half of this race are now running near the front half of the field right now, doing an incredible job here. David Shieldhouse continuing to lead. He's been probably one of the more dominant cars to look out for as the green flag is back in the air. Austin LaPlante actually gets a solid start there. The second place car, the top two trying to check away from the rest of the pack. And looks like we've got trouble near the back, and we got a massive crash. That is Seth Cole in the 55. He hit the pit road wall. Nathan Amato in there as on the time, excuse me, as the caution is back out again.
And they took it so quick. And he's blown up. He's done. I don't even know why he's bothering to... He's spraying all this oil around the racetrack.
By the way it looks, Natan, something happened in the middle of the pack. They went about 3 to 4 wide. Natan spun, and he clipped someone, hit the inside wall super hard. And then Seth Cole...
Oh, wow. I'm
just clips him and then clobbers the end of that pit wall.
If you go back, if you look right out of turn 4, a stall hood was hanging on the bottom. Tommy Bordeaux's up top, and Natan, he tried to split the middle here, and Bobby Jones just lifted. Natan gets into the back of him, bumps him up.
Actually, here, wait. I think there was a stack up actually coming to the green because Tommy Bordeaux actually hit the back end of Rick Johnson. That really slowed up the field behind him, and that really led to a domino effect. And Natan just spun the car out. He just hit somebody. He made contact, and I think you saw what happened with Seth Cole. He slammed the pit road wall.
Oh, well, yes. It seems that Natan just got clipped. Like, he holds the brakes, but his car spun back up into the surface, and I think the 98 just could not see him. He just has his back end clipped off the 75. His front end nails the pit wall. That sends the car back up and over into the catch fence and back down onto the racing surface. But he gets it all the way around the track. There is oil everywhere on the racing surface as he comes down pit road.
So another casualty to this event. Seth Cole will be dropping out of the event. Real rough day for the 55 team. Sucks to see that happen.
Also looks like Doug Denise also retired from the event as well. He's been plenty of wrecks today. I'm sure they just wanted the day to end for them. And certainly Doug Denise, maybe not the happiest on the radio, but his day is done as well. We've got a lot more retirees in the latter half of this race, folks. They're getting more aggressive, so we might see a lot more cautions here.
I'm sorry there, DJ. Could you repeat what happened to the 5 for me, please? I was not aware that he had retired.
I think they just pulled off, actually. I think they had plenty of damage from all the other wrecks they got in it previously. I think either that or they had to... I think they just had some mechanical issues, but most likely they just pulled off the track, maybe in terms of just trying to just avoid all of the other lackluster events happening maybe later on this race to come.
And I'm not too positive what happened, but Zach Buchanan has fallen 3 laps down. Not sure what happened there with him, but he has fallen 3 laps down.
He did smoke up the tires a little bit in pit lane on Buchanan. Obviously frustrated about his day. I would say at this point, probably just try to salvage what you can out of this event and hope that you just finish under the green flag.
Yeah, and we have 20 cars left on the track as we are under 30 to go, so it's prime time. It's time. If you're at the back, it's time to get to the front. I believe we only have about a dozen cars left that might be damage free, so I mean, I look at these are the names I'm looking at. I think right now you've got Shieldhouse, LaPlante, Lawson, Malillo, Gunther, Nova, Sylvain, Coleman. I think Shane Sides has enough of a car left to be in contention. Rick Johnson, Bobby Jones, perhaps Tommy Bordeaux, but I know Tyler Stallhood, Noah Carmichael, John Poole III, Jason Justice, Brandon Hawken, and Natan Amoto all got some significant damage. Corey Williams is down to 19th. I'm not sure what his situation is, nor for Dylan Poteet as the lights turn off, and that is just to give you an idea of who might have a chance at still winning this race.
And I think you might want to take a look on the 55. They've got no wing, no rear wing on that 55 Liberty University car. So I think Seth Cole, aerodynamics are basically gone in that car. So,
oh man, I don't think I've ever seen that. I guess that's a part of the damage model. Is that even legal, guys?
I'm not quite sure. I think if he keeps minimum speed, he should be fine. But I'm not quite sure.
I would probably just stick to the inside line at the bottom of the track as best as I can down the front and back straightaway, and then swing high to the outside in the corners to get the heck out of the way, because without that rear wing, that is so much precious downforce just gone from that car. It will not be able to hold a speed of roughly 200 miles an hour, if it can even run at that point.
I'm not sure if they'll even let him continue on the track if he can't reach minimum speed.
I'm more wondering how twitchy is that car going to feel. I mean, you've got all that front downforce that's probably going to be lifting up the rear wheels. Like, I bet it's going to feel like you're driving a go-kart on ice.
Here they come again for the acceleration point. David Shieldhouse continuing to lead over Austin LaPlante. Green flag back in the air. We are underway at Indy yet again after what has been a pretty much a smashing last couple of cautions here. Shieldhouse just looking strong on the radar here, but Austin LaPlante reeling in that number 28 extremely hard using the middle roof there.
I don't know if someone was sleeping there, DJ, but there's a bit of a gap between 8th and 7th place. It looks like Randall Coleman and some others maybe. I'm not sure if they had a starting issue up, but the draft, it works its magic, and they are already right back up behind the 99. Maybe some strategy.
Is extremely sensitive here in these Indy cars here, as you can immediately hook up to somebody and get that draft, and maybe even get a potential slingshot maneuver around due to the amount of slipstream you can get. You see Austin LaPlante kind of laying back there out of turn 4, trying to get that slingshot move here. You can see how much you can close in on that straightaway.
Into the front straightaway they go for lap 93 out of 128. Down in the first turn they go. Everyone goes by fairly smoothly thus far.
And we'll hit 25 to go next time by. Let's, I guess, give you an SRA 25 to go kind of deal. Who's your favorite to win? Who's your underdog that's up here in the top 10? Blake, maybe you'd like to start with us here.
Well, I have to say, I think the strongest guy out of here that I feel either has a shot to win or at least finish high, I got to be honest, Shieldhouse. He's been consistent all day, and while he hasn't led every lap, he's been consistent enough to keep people at bay. But as for my sleeper driver, I got to say, I think Henry Nova could really do something today. He's been about mid-pack, but in the last few runs with retirements... Oh! Someone's in the wall!
It's Noah Carmichael. And I think maybe some contact with the 17 of Bobby Jones, not sure, but they stay green, they keep going.
It wasn't from Bobby Jones, it was actually from Jason Justice down in that little mini straight, and he hit that wall pretty hard. I think that obviously wasn't intentional on his part, but no, was certainly going to be off the pace.
Justice kind of snuck up on him, and unfortunately hooked him in the rear a little bit, just a little bit too quick, big wiggle, and then hard smack into the wall. So, DJ, who is your pick and who is your sleeper?
Well, it looks like from what I've seen so far, I'd say pole sitter Brandon Lawson. Actually, no, let me change that. Excuse me, I think Rogers would want Brandon Lawson instead. But I'd say one of my few drivers to see winning this race is Tom Sylvain in the 67. He's been actually near the back of the pack throughout most of the first half, but he's made his way back up into the field. So Tom Sylvain's a very experienced driver here at Indianapolis. They know how to run the track, and my sleeper pick actually is going to be Nick Gunther in the 07. He's actually stayed clean. A lot of them know him as more an aggressive driver in the circuit, but Nick Gunther could be a potential sleeper pick to win the Indianapolis 500.
Very right, DJ. I agree. Gunther's one of those underrated guys. Always seems to be up front and always has some kind of bad luck or Truex luck go his way. But like you said, leaving Brandon Lawson for me, I would have to agree. This guy started on the pole. He's led laps. We talked to him during our second caution flag earlier in the race, and he knows what to do, but he needs the help to get to the front. Obviously in the top 3 right now. And honestly, for a sleeper pick, I gotta look into the back of the field, and honestly, with how this race has gone, I'm going to say the 98 of Brandon Hawken, because, he was involved in that pit road incident, and he's shown speed. He seems to be up to speed. Is it enough to win the race? No, but I think that qualifies him as a sleeper pick, to say the least. And, if I didn't see the 98 running up here, I probably would have gone with Justin Malillo, because even though, given his great credentials in the sim racing community, he's a great driver and all, but haven't really seen him stay up front that much, as someone is down on the access road.
Looks like Seth Cole is down that access road, and you obviously saw we mentioned him with a no wing on the back end of his car. I think they might have told him to pull off the track, unless he's blown the car up, I believe. But even so, I think he's just trying to stay out of harm's way.
And I'm actually looking at his past lap time, DJ, and I'm honestly surprised they do not ask him to park, because he is about 7 seconds off pace.
Oh, bit of a move there to Sylvain. And
who is that?
Big wiggle there. Big wiggle.
Brandon
Almost
Hawken.
dangerous.
Aggressive move by Brandon Hawken there. Brandon Hawken there, and he got around Randall Coleman just like that. There you see Shane Sides in the picture as well. Another underdog that we could see win the Indianapolis 500. Tom Sylvain getting around Justin Malillo there. For position, Henry Nova's in the picture as well. But this field's definitely intensified as the race has gotten themselves into the final climax.
Oh, yes, and we're hitting 30 to go now. I think I had mistakenly said we were at 30 to go 10 laps ago. But Justin was up there in third. It looks like he got wiggled out. I saw someone else. LaPlante has actually gotten wiggled out of second place. Lawson moves up to second. Gunther is third, and Tom Sylvain fourth. And now it looks like Justin will move back into fifth, as Henry Nova has been shafted out of line.
Yeah, dropping back in 214 miles per hour. I think right now he's just dropping back to try and find a spot to slot back in. And then it's going to be a long climb to get back up there.
Yeah, right now it's just a big single file train down the front straightaway. Look how single file these guys are, all against inside wall. And you can see how many drivers are going to be scrambling to get in that inside lane here. It looks like it's important here. A lot of drivers also tightening out of that first corner there. It looks like a couple of them are pushing up the racetrack.
The one thing that certainly does worry me is we saw that wreck earlier with Seth Cole in the 55. I mean, these cars are going 215, 220 miles an hour. I'm so worried that someone's going to make just the tiniest wrong move, just wiggle ever so slightly out of place, and they're going to clobber that inside wall. And like an accordion coming crashing back inward, every car roughly from fifth on back would be knocked out of it.
Yeah, that 55 is only getting up to about 180 miles per hour, guys. I know that you'd let the officials let you by, as he's going to pull down on the access road again here, going into turn 3 as the leaders approach him.
Sylvain in the 67 following behind in fourth place. Car's getting really risky. One thing I did want to mention earlier with Hawken. Brandon Hawken showing signs of AJ Foyt inside of that car. Driving hard, driving aggressive. And Takuma Sato as well, driving as hard as he can. And willing to wreck a car even if it means getting just that much more speed out of it. But amazing work he has been doing as he climbs up through the field, currently in 6th, maybe going for 5th if he can make the pass.
It doesn't look like it's going to work there. Justin Melillo manages to hold on the sprint mobile there. Tom Sylvain still sitting in that 4th spot. Good run for the number 67 there. Nick Gunther quietly running in that 3rd spot. He's rather stayed out of trouble here. But David Shieldhouse and Brandon Lawson are really pretty much dominating that top 2 right now here. But Shieldhouse really the guy to beat so far.
And here we go as they come to 25 laps to go. The grand question is, who has the motive, who has the power, who has the strategy as well? That's one thing we haven't considered. If this race goes long enough and we do not have another yellow, this could come into a fuel strategy race if possible.
Yeah, and I just want to intermediate quickly. I guess our 25 to go is really a 35 to go. As I said, my math was way off. So that was our SRA 35 to go, 10 laps to go.
From earlier, yeah.
Yeah, they go down into turn 4 for another lap to be completed. Thus far, everyone keeping it fairly clean. And Nick Gunther moves to the outside, slides back into the inside, back to slot himself back into 3rd place. I really do wonder what's going through that head of his, wondering how he's going to be able to get around 2 of the most dominating cars all race long, as Tom Sylvain's going to get on 07 and Nick Gunther's bottom, and it could be trying to make a bit of an intimidating strategy to move Gunther out of the way to nab that 3rd spot.
As Blake ends his sentence there, guys, I'm looking at the back here. Rick Johnson and some others are starting to form a high line, maybe possibly to go to the front. Not sure.
It looks cars like of Poole and Poteet, who are actually, remember we saw John Poole III smack the wall in turn 3, and he's still running up there. Fantastic job for John Poole III there. Dylan Poteet, we mentioned him with the warp issue. He's back up there. Bobby Jones has been, like I said, kind of quiet in that first pack. Been running in the back near there, and you might see him maybe up front near the end. Henry Nova also back there with Zach Buchanan on tow.
Guys, the 55 of Seth Cole was down pit road a few laps ago. It looks like he might have had a black flag. He is back down and back out as they continue to lose laps. And, you know, we talked about guys getting in trouble. Natanamoto, Noah Carmichael, they're off pace. I'm not sure if Corey Williams just lost the draft or not, but he seems to have some kind of aero damage, as the leaders will catch him up shortly.
Yeah, Nick Gunther just got up to P2 there. He might be looking for the lead. He's hungry for that lead here.
And guys, I think the cone just got killed by Shane Sides. I think I saw his left front nick the orange cone. The cone is dead.
Oh, there's a wreck!
Melillo was riding the wall in turn 2, and there was no caution.
No caution as he tumbles.
He flipped over.
There's no caution, no lights. Tough break for Justin Melillo in the 53. He was running in 8th place.
Looks like he tried to slot himself in, miscorrected, went into the back of Jason Justice, and just clobbered that outside wall, unfortunately. Slammed it and tore so much of his car up. So, while I don't think that's going to be the end of the day for him, I think that will take him out of contention for a win.
Yeah, guys, certainly. You know, we talked about the invisible bumpers on this mod, and that is a clear case. You know, if the mod did not have those bumpers, he would have slotted right in there just fine. But with the way the bumpers work for this mod, he bumper grabbed right off the back of that car and sent himself straight into the outside wall. Tough break for the 53.
Now, as we mentioned bumper grab, that does leave me concerned. I saw that Tom Sylvain had gotten incredibly close to the 07 of Nick Gunther, and I was very, very worried that what was going to happen was he was going to get pitched up into the wall. Shane Sides wiggling back in 4th place and dropping a little bit.
The 30 was there. Got a bit of a message there, and he backed off.
Yeah, he does have a teeny amount of aero damage, you know, but he's going to hop back in line. And when you talk about the invisible bumpers here, you got to know we've seen it all race. You know, we saw it with Corey Carpenter and Derek Justice. You know, they're not giving any inch down the straightaways, and when you don't give that inch down the straightaways, you're giving that inch in the corners. But when you get we're coming to 20 to go this time by, you can't really give that inch anymore. You got to go for it. You got to risk wrecking the guy in front of you almost. As the orange cone almost gets murdered again, I think our trusty pit crew official put it back over there. But, you know, it's just the give and take was in the beginning of the race. The give is gone. It's all take right now.
Well, there's certainly only just a handful of laps as we will come. Oh, big wiggle.
Nice save by Shane Signs there. Brandon
got
Hawken
a
backed
lot
off in
of
time, and
help.
Austin LaPlante lets him back in.
Hawken moved up the track, and that let Shane Sides back up, or he would have gotten in the grass and wrecked it around.
And my question.
There we go, Blake. You were saying, they're getting aggressive now. You can't give that much anymore, and it's coming really apparent, and I'm surprised we have not seen a wreck yet.
Here we go with 18 laps to go. Now, what I was going to say was, my question is you can knock on that door as many times as you want. Whether someone will answer it is another question entirely. I don't know as we get into the closing laps. Oh, bit of a move!
Shieldhouse got there. Gunther got underneath the 28.
Gunther's going to slingshot to the lead. Shieldhouse may not be able to find out. Oh, bit of a bump!
Shoved him up the track.
That was a mean move. That was a nasty move by the 07.
That was an aggressive move, but it worked out. Nick Gunther now to the point. Look who's in second. Tom Silver.
Oh, there's a hit! There's a wreck! There's a big crash down the front straightaway! Cars flipping, spinning!
Rick Johnson is involved. Actually, it's not. It's Randall Coleman, excuse me. Jason Justice collected there. Looks like Bobby Jones might have had a piece as the caution is out. A massive crash, but Nick Gunther, now your current race leader in the closing laps of this race. This is a paradise for Nicholas Gunther.
And I'm looking at this, guys. When you get there, Oh, wow. I don't know what happened there. David either completely misjudged or I don't know what that was, but he comes off of 4 next to Jason Justice. It looks like he tried to get dramatically in line. And I don't know, DJ. I mean, he just came straight off of turn 4.
Came down. I think he might have gotten a bit loose there. I mean, I don't think he might have misjudged as well.
I've got it up on screen. It looks like it appears that he was going to try and fall in behind Jason Justice, and he did it way too fast. And unfortunately, the air that Jason Justice got.
Those cars look so similar.
Yeah, and then just looking at this, Shieldhouse going over the pit wall, tumbling end over end.
Randall Coleman had nowhere to go, and I actually just saw the back end of the 12 of Dylan Pulte was clipped just about.
Yeah, he got a lucky break, though.
A 4-car wreck. Randall Coleman has retired from the race, and I mean, 2 big contenders of Jason Justice, David Shieldhouse, and Randall Coleman. I believe David is going to try and fix his damage, but the 25 has retired from the event. Not sure if the 16 and 28 will try to continue or what. But that was crazy.
Wow.
That was an awful wreck, but that was great racing. You saw what Nick Gunther did to the bottom of the racetrack. That was aggression at its finest there. You're trying to go for the race lead, and he certainly went for it there. And Tom Sylvain in the second spot, he followed him. And look who's in third. Looks like Tommy Bordeaux.
Indeed. Now, my grand question is, all right, now Nick Gunther has taken the lead, right? And he managed to get help from Tom Sylvain. My question is that friendliness and that nicety going to continue? My honest opinion, no. I honestly have to say, I think either Sylvain or Bordeaux is going to put the nose to the metal and try and move some people out of the way. There's too much at stake here. If we go green on lap 120 out of 128, there's only 8 laps to go, and it takes almost a full lap to get these cars up to speed. They're going to have to push it as hard as they can, and if they'll have enough time, we could see someone make such a dramatic move that they will be the winner of this event. As it
This certainly can come into play, though, Blake. I do agree. If they go green, which they obviously will, but there's such a lack of laps to go, though. Nick Gunther has a lot to lose here. All he's got to do is hold that bottom, but the problem is, will Tom Sylvain or anybody else behind them get the appropriate help to get around the 07? Because pretty much Indianapolis is a low-line track, but what we've seen so far, we've seen people help each other out like it would at a super speedway and get to the lead on the outside line. But if you get like I said, you need to have all those allies necessary if you want to win this race. And I think I might ask the contact some of the few people if we can get Nick Gunther down in here to see what he's feeling right now.
And we have to wait and see maybe if these lights turn off. I have just posted a reminder to all drivers. We're going to interview the top 4 after this race ends. I'm not sure which order we'll do. If we're going to go from winner to 4th or 4th to the winner, however you want to do it.
We will be going from the winner to 4th place, and I was about to comment on Shane Sides, but I think he's come up with a better idea. As he dives into the pits, I was going to comment that he was in 5th place before this move into the pits. Don't know whether this is scheduled or not.
He is speeding up. Those lights are off. He's just trying to get maybe a top off and go. It looks like they're actually taking tires. So this will be real close for the 61. This is IndyCar. This is not NASCAR. If the caution comes out within the last 5 laps or so, they will end under caution if they have to. But, as you said, we were going to try and get Nick Gunther, but obviously we're going green this time. Nick Gunther, your leader. Tom Sylvain up in 2nd. Tommy Bordeaux in 3rd. Crazy. You got a sub-driver right there in 3rd place. Our pole sitter, Brandon Lawson, in 4th. Brandon Hawken, we thought had damage in 5th. So we got our 2 Canadian guys right there up there in the top 5. And then looking through the rest of the top 10, you've got LaPlante, Pote, Buchanan, Bobby Jones, another sub-driver, and Henry Nova.
Yep,
indeed.
He's coming off into pit lane, and Nick Gunther trying to win for Nintendo here. Really, that F-Zero car. He's
there's the
green flag. Back in the air, Nick Gunther leads over Tom Sylvain. Sylvain gets an excellent start here, as looks like the number 30 doesn't really get the best of restarts there, as he's going to get Freight Train near the back.
What a big shake-up there from 2nd to 3rd in terms of spacing. As Sylvain tries to work his way, trying to make some intimidating moves, trying to get around the 07. Question is, will the blue F-Zero Falcon machine manage to end up finishing first and be in victory lane?
Watch out, guys. These top 2, they got a bit too much ground. Don't be shocked if the 30 and some of these other guys get a big run and peak to that high line or maybe right down the low lane off the corner, because they've got a head of steam.
Yep, the aggression rate has certainly increased here. Tommy Bordeaux now catching the top 2 at last. Tom Sylvain going way down at the bottom of the racetrack. Nick Gunther stuck in that middle groove. He defends extremely well. Good move by Nick Gunther. As here comes a 30 down the inside. He's looking underneath Tom Sylvain, but he can't quite do it.
Nick Gunther out of turn 2, going down the back straightaway. There has been valid criticism in racing in the past of drivers holding that inside line, making it impossible to pass. I will honestly say that is valid criticism.
Oh, and there's a wreck.
Sylvain spins around.
Up and over. Bordeaux's in the wall. Buchanan.
Carmichael.
Yes,
so many cars.
Nova, Carmichael, Onesto.
Henry Nova, safe. He's safe, but he did get some contact.
But the caution is out. Nick Gunther continuing to lead, but Brandon Lawson now up to P2, and Brandon Hawken is now in 3rd.
And guys, I was actually just about to comment that Dylan Poteet had been warping pretty big, and man, they got wrecked out of nowhere. And I'm hearing from the 99 team radio that they believe they were plowed into.
Well, as we take a look at the replay, it looks like the 30 just got right into the nose of the 67. Everyone else just tries to move and avoid. And unfortunately, Zach Buchanan locked up his brakes and just smashed into the wall.
Yeah, he hit the grass there, actually. The 3-car hit the grass there, and Buchanan spins the car in the wall. Noah Carmichael on the brakes had no place to go. And then I think Joseph Ernesto just tried to avoid the wreck, and he just hit Nova.
88 was sliding down the track. He tried to get out there. He was on the brakes pretty good, so he barely hits the 99, but, it sends the 99 right around. John Wall was actually sliding down on the grass on the inside.
Now, the grand issue I see with the 99, unfortunately, is I think he got very, very little damage, and he'll be fast. He'll be fast enough, at least. My biggest worry is the fact that he has to crawl and climb his way back up, and there's just not going to be enough time for Henry Nova to get a win.
And I'm just trying to see, and it looks like Sylvain got a little loose, and he just got run over by Tommy Bordeaux. Obviously, the 67 gets up and over and just does a bit of a roll there sideways and then right up the track into the outside wall. Tough break. The 67 is gone. They're out of the race. So the race is over for Tom Sylvain. That leaves us with 22 drivers, 18 total on the lead lap. And it looks like it's going to get interesting, guys. You know, we're going to be under 10 to go when we restart. Do these guys race so hard that they're going to wreck and end under yellow, or will we see them hold on for a green flag finish?
Well, I can certainly guarantee you this. They are going to race as hard as they can. Now, whether everyone will be able to keep their heads about it and not wreck each other out, that remains to be seen. But I guarantee you, especially for the top 5, those who are in striking distance, they are going to push it as hard as they can to make themselves try to be a winner here at Indy. And to comment on this, Nick Gunther, good racer, good guy. He's just unfortunately had a lot of bad luck in all the leagues and races that he's been in. But very, very solid run for him today, without a doubt. A little bit of information about our current leader. He is an 18-year-old from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He has 19 NR 2003 online wins. And he's going to Penn State for a form of engineering here very, very soon.
Yeah, he doesn't know exactly yet what he wants to do. Maybe this win will inspire him to let him know what he should do. Maybe he'll go into
because of
maybe,
it.
well, maybe he'll go into automotive engineering or mechanical engineering. You know, one of our guys that was unable to race, you know, Victor Vali was slated to drive to 27. He is actually going to college for, I believe it was mechanical engineering.
Yep. Recent high school graduate Nick Gunther was, so it's really cool to see him run up front, and boy, would it be a gift for him to win the Indianapolis 500. This is the first event SRA's really held the Indy 500, really, to be exact. And all the times I've really seen the Indy 500, this has probably been one of the most exciting ones I've seen in quite a while.
Now, I want to mention something real quick. We see that Brandon Lawson is in second place. Talk about a man with a lot of experience and a lot of talent. This guy has 66 NR 2003 wins, and he has 4 championships. 4 championships, so definitely not a slouch. So without a doubt, he could definitely put that knowledge from previous wins and previous championships to great use and try and muscle his way back up into winning this event. And what an interesting story it would be, winning from the pole.
You also got to remember, Brandon Lawson's kind of one of those guys more in the bigger leagues when you think about it, like other NR leagues that are kind of higher up. And look at Nick Gunther. He's probably one of the guys you see rather in a smaller league, like, you know, how you, like you, me, and Zach are kind of sitting around in, I guess you can say, a smaller sanctioned leagues these days. But I don't know about you as much, Rogers, but looks like they're in the one-to-go signal yet again.
Yes.
But Nick Gunther he's the underdog here, looks like. And you also see Austin LaPlante running in the 4th spot. Don't count him out just yet. Austin LaPlante, also a guy to look out for. Yep, so we have plenty of different drivers in that top 10 that could go for a win.
I know I keep trying to cut you off, but looking at our sleeper picks, you know, Gunther's leading. Brandon Hawkins back up in 3rd with his damage. And I forget who our other underdog pick was. Henry Nova is back in 15th. But we're coming to 8 to go. I expect if a caution comes out racing back to 4 to go, it will end under yellow. So Gunther with a huge start here. Lawson trailing back just a bit as we're back green, guys. Holy crap, here we go.
Now the big question,
winding down.
The big question is Team Canada going to make a move and just try to work together? I mean, we had mentioned how Brandon Lawson, right back there in second, is poised to strike. But I have a feeling what could happen with Brandon Hawkins is they are going to draft the ever-living heck out of one another and manage to try and get around the 07.
And right now, guys, off of that restart, there is a big split from 8th on back due to 9th place Tyler Stallhood being in 9th. As we've mentioned, you know, he's got some aero damage, but it looks like it's going to come down to the top 8. Bobby Jones, look at Justin Malillo's back up here in 7th. John Poole the 3rd. We had seen get into an incident. Tommy Bordeaux, LaPlante, Hawkin, Lawson, and Gunther. 7 to go, guys. Here we go.
Also,
oh, man.
You also got to remember Justin Malillo hit the catch fence at some point.
Oh,
in this
yeah,
race,
man.
And he's up in the 7th spot. You
He's
got to give
riding.
a shout out to him. John Poole III, remember, he slammed the turn 3 wall hard. He's up in 6th. Tommy Bordeaux, you saw what happened with the contact between him and Tom Sylvain. He's running in the 5th spot, but a lot of drivers that had issues early are certainly recovering today with excellent runs. Nick Gunther, he's got to defend the low line as much as he can, because if he makes one mistake, Brandon Lawson can pounce on him.
And it looks like that Justin is getting some decent draft speed. I think he is lagging back maybe just a bit, kind of like what Tyler Stallhood was doing. Obviously, some little bit of aero damage is going to affect him, but we can see Lawson is lagging back just a bit, trying to get that run. 6 to go, guys. And you got to wonder, once we get to 5 or 4 to go, not only do you want to stay focused on the front, you want to see, are they going to wreck? Because if they wreck, caution's out. I don't know if they race back or the field is frozen. I'm not entirely sure what the rule is there, since they're under 10 to go. But this could get interesting.
Field, maybe. To wait and see, though.
I would say the biggest worry right now for Nick Gunther is not only holding that inside line, a little bit of a wiggle there, backing him out 5th or 6th place.
And John Poole the 3rd for 5th place. That was really, really close. But good driving here. And now here we go, guys. 5 to go. Top 3 pulling away just a bit. It's crunch time.
Oh, most certainly, Rogers here. Nick Gunther, his heart must be beating right now. He is in the lead. We didn't expect him to be probably one of the leaders here in this race, but he is certainly doing an amazing job here. Brandon Lawson and Brandon Hawkin are going to do the best they can. The Brandons are going to maybe try and team up with Justin Malillo Austin LaPlante sitting in the 4th spot there. In there as well, but they are all gonna be going for it once and for all. There is no point of return here at Indianapolis. Nick Gunther holds on.
And as we mentioned, as we come to 4 to go, I thought we had 8 cars. It looks like Rick Johnson, Shane Sides were able to draft up to the back of these guys. So a 10-horse race, if anybody wrecks, if anything goes wrong. But it's down to 10 cars, and I would think that anybody behind them are trying not to race too hard and cause an incident. You know, you want that incident to be here racing for the win at 4 to go.
I can guarantee you, without a doubt, each passing lap, Nick Gunther's heart is speeding up just a little bit more each time. Hands are definitely sweaty inside of that cockpit, shaking, nervous for what could go wrong. But oh, such a payoff if he could pull it off.
I've been there, Blake. You know, I had a shot at a big win a few weeks ago, a month ago or so, and you know, I messed up. You know, I couldn't handle. I was shaking, man. It was so crazy. I thought I was going to get that win, and, you know, just wasn't enough. Came down to a one-lap shootout. As we look back here, 3 to go, Seth Cole getting out of the way for these guys. And there it is. Look, Brandon Lawson. And there's a wreck. Tommy Bordeaux goes to the inside wall. No caution yet.
Oh, up the track. That's up the track. That's going to be a caution.
That's dangerous. That is dangerous stuff.
Caution is out.
That might be. That's it.
Out. Field's frozen.
It, Nick Gunther.
It's going to be Nick Gunther.
That's it, Nick Gunther.
Holy
he
crap.
is going to win this race here at Indianapolis. Unless something amiss happens to the 07, I think Nicholas Gunther has just won it today. Talk about an underdog win here for the Indy 500.
Right as that wreck happened, guys, I think it might have been attributed to a stack-up. Because when they were coming off the corner, Brandon Lawson had started lagging behind. I'm not sure if he was maybe trying to get ready to get a run on the 07. But I think that might have been what caused that incident.
Now, as long as his engine is running, and as long as it doesn't blow up and he can maintain pace speed, Nick Gunther will be your winner at Indianapolis. But he's only got 2.5 miles to go before it's all over, before he can finally rest back and relax and enjoy that nice cool glass of milk.
And I'm looking at the replay, guys, and it looks like Bordeaux gets a bumper grab off of Austin LaPlante. LaPlante wiggled his car down just a bit, and it just gets into the 30, and it sent him down to the inside wall and
up the track.
Barrel rolled back up the track, and you know he was just so slow that the caution comes back out.
Yep, here they come to the white flag here. Obviously, it's going to end the race under caution. Nick Gunther, he's just got to cruise on really to the victory here today.
And I think I've heard from some driver radios that Nick Gunther is probably really, really ecstatic over this win. You know, we
I
talked
think we're going to
about
be excited for
bad
the interview, though.
luck Truex. He considered himself in. No, I don't know if it went green to the end, if he would have been able to hold on, but you know, you can't say a what if in this case. You can't say a what if in this case. You know, the wreck happened, and you know he's just got to hold it in gear, and he's going to be your winner. And as we look at this, it looks like our other interviewers' ease will be our in-race reporter of Brandon Lawson, who will get second place. We'll get to interview Brandon Hawken in third, and Austin LaPlante will round out fourth place. As it appears, Brandon Lawson can't take an interview. What?
But here they come into turns number 3 and 4. Nick Gunther driving the lone Mazda, from what I recall. Here he comes, exiting the last corner for the final time. Obviously, this race is going to end under caution, but Nick Gunther, driving the Blue Falcon from the Nintendo game F-Zero, he's going to take the checkered flag, and he's going to win the SRA Indy 500.
Congratulations to Nick Gunther. The rest of our order would be the 41 of Brandon Lawson, the 98, the 42, the 2 of John Poole. What an amazing comeback by him. The 53, the 93 of Rick Johnson, the 61 of Shane Sides. What a run by him back up into the top 10. The 17, and wow, Henry Nova crawled his way all the way back to 10th. What a run by him.
Well, if we had milk in real life, we certainly would have given it to Nick Gunther here. But I mean, they're going to get some virtual milk. But Nick Gunther, talk about an upset victory. I picked him as my underdog, and I knew he was going to be fast. But wow, I didn't think he'd actually win the thing. Talk about an exciting race near the end. Unfortunately, we had the race end under caution. But boy, did we see the aggression rate go up near the end. You definitely could determine how desperate these drivers are going to get as Nick Gunther nearly spins the car down in turn 4. If he can do some burnouts, that'd be baller for him. But Nick Gunther, give a shout out to him. Congratulations on the 07. I think a lot of people are going to be either upset, but a lot of us are going to be rather happy to see this 07 in victory lane. At last, Nick Gunther, everybody. Nick Gunther.
They will get ready. He's gonna try
Too gripped up to do a burnout, looks like.
Smoke it up, buddy. Smoke it up.
There you go.
There we go. There we go. That's a good way to do it. Salute to the fans. Big smoke show. Big burnout by the 07 team.
I think we're going to try and get in contact with Austin LaPlante first, if possible, as Gunther continues to celebrate.
As we wait for driver interviews, gentlemen, let me ask you real quick, what did you think of this race as a whole?
It was rather entertaining, my dear friend. Talk about an underdog win. I'm still excited. I didn't mean to say upset. That's not what I meant. I got so excited I even said upset, because he's such an upset to win this race, though. Nick Gunther, man, he got the lead at the right time, and he held on for dear life. Nick Gunther's heart was beating up, and certainly well-deserved win for Nick Gunther. Unfortunately, we saw what happened with David Shieldhouse and the others. They were dominating this race throughout, and boy, oh boy, was it exciting at the end. We saw some good racing near the front of the pack especially, and it was a fun race to watch indeed.
So let's go ahead and quickly
we are here now. We've got I guess we've got second place finisher Brandon Lawson here, runner up.
Okay, I'm gonna save it anyways. Oh.
And
Okay,
we also
one
got
at a time.
Well. It looks like he'll be gone for a bit, but we'll talk to Brandon here. Second place for you today, Brandon. How do you feel?
It was a lot of fun. I had a great time out there tonight. It was a lot of guys that made this happen. I got to thank every single one of them. You know, Buchanan and I don't want to say a bunch of names. I don't want to miss any, but I know Buchanan was basically the main leader of this, and he did a wonderful job in hosting this event. And I had a great time. The whole race was very fun. It was scary and skeptical. You know, no one was wondering what happened, but I had a lot of fun. Good win to Nick Gunther. He did great. He did. I mean, he juked me out during the race. He worked his way up to the front, and he deserved to win tonight. And he did a great job. He deserves the pride. I know he's happy. He's never really won one of these big special events, and I'm happy for him. It feels good to see him win. I couldn't really do anything with him. I kind of wish we could have raced back and see if I could get a chance to at least pass him there. I was actually getting ready to make my move before that caution came out, but that's why we were going to go early. We knew the caution was going to come out and probably end it, but I can't say I'm disappointed with finishing second. I had a great time tonight, and it was very fun. I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah, you did excellent out there, Brendan. Thank you very much. You gave us quite a show to watch here at Indianapolis. Well done. Wish you got maybe if you got that victory, that would made you a lot happier, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I definitely would have been really happy to get the victory. Like I said, I'm really happy for those guys down there and that Nick Gunther team. They did a good job tonight, and good job to you guys. And thanks to my parents for watching. I enjoyed it.
Thank you very much for coming out and racing with us, Brandon.
Hey, no problem, guys. See you next year, hopefully.
See you next year.
All right, that is Brandon Lawson reporting. Let's see if we can get fourth place. I believe Austin LaPlante is down there waiting for us. DJ, you got in touch with there at the 48?
The 42 to be exact.
Oh, I'm
Austin,
sorry.
you got a fourth place run today. Did you feel pretty confident coming into the race from the get-go, or did you just feel like you just needed to stay out of trouble, but you ended up in a good spot at the end?
Absolutely. Lots of times I almost got involved in some wrecks. A couple, including Justin Malello, the pit road incident, and some other car. And I think hitting the turn one that went like straight to the right. I was like, oh my God! I almost got involved right there. I mean, and with the last incident with me, the number 30 car. We both agreed it was a racing deal, even though there was some bumper grab involved. And I seriously wanted to claim that, but it was too good to say I'm going to claim it and give up the spot and give the fourth place to someone else. But it's just so sweet for my former teammates, Nick Gunther, for winning this race. Fourth place for me is very good for me as well. I'm sorry, hang on just a sec. I think this is my first official finish, because all other times when I'm with the IORL series, I either retire because I crashed or engine issues or anything else. So this is so bittersweet for me. And thank you, Blake, DJ, and Zach for commentating this race. I was watching that and racing at the same time, but focusing mainly racing as that was that main priority.
You did a good job out there, LaPlante. You kept your bumper clean. Yeah, you mentioned you had a couple of close calls, but you still did an absolute wonderful job. Well-deserved fourth place, my man. Keep it up. You run next year. Hopefully you can win this thing.
Yeah, I was clean today. Maybe I probably could have been cleaner if it happens next year. Could be even cleaner.
Yep, that is Austin LaPlante. There, we just interviewed. So we'll move down to, looks like we can get to Brandon Honkin here. So thank you very much, Austin LaPlante, for talking to us.
Go Red Sox.
All right, we have Brandon Honkin here, our third place driver there, got a third. Made some aggressive moves down there. Do you think you could have gotten up to that lead at the end?
Wait, guys. Yeah, I think maybe, if we had a couple more laps there without the yellow, I think I may have been able to make a move, but it was really hard to pass because, the cars just had so much grip, and, if you could get to the outside a little bit, and then the guy in front of you came off the track a little bit, you could dive down in there and get the inside from him. But Brandon and Nick were holding their lines really, really well there, so it would have been hard. But I would have liked to see it go green to the end and see what happened.
Well, I have to certainly say that you had a very eventful race today. Got a little bit of damage earlier in the event, but somehow it managed to hold on to it and still run fast enough. How do you feel after such a strange and massive event?
Man, yeah, I was super lucky to get out of the pits there with hardly any damage. I think it was like half a second of damage in the pits. Yeah, the car was fast after that. I don't really know what happened in the pits there. It was like I don't know, somebody just stopped, and then yeah, a whole bunch of us went flying into them. But yeah, lucky to get away from that. And yeah, so I had to make my way up back a couple times there. But yeah, like it was a great race. Yeah, thanks Zach and um, Tyler and everybody at IORL Fuel, everybody who set this race up, because yeah, it was a great race.
Yep, you did absolutely wonderful. You made some good moves that really entertained us. We felt like you were Sato out there, actually. We saw you make some moves down the inside in the straightaways and corners. So we knew you were going to charge up there near the end. So you got a third. Well deserved, dude. I feel like you could have gotten up there at the end, but man, everybody did such a great job out there running up in that field, you know?
Yeah, it was a great race. Yeah, everybody, pretty much like everybody did a great job at keeping away from the wrecks and everything. There were a few incidents, but I mean, we had some long green flag runs, and it was really good.
Yeah, thank you for talking to us, Brandon. You did absolutely excellent today. Hope to see you next year.
Thanks, Zach and DJ.
So it looks like we can actually talk to Nick Gunther, our winner here of the Indianapolis 500. Let me move him down a bit here, and maybe you want me to ask the questions, I'll do it.
I think I got it. I'll go into victory lane here. I'm down here, guys. I'm in victory lane. The celebration is insane. I'm here. Nick Gunther, what a performance, man. You got that pass under David Shieldhouse, and you held on there, and then a caution comes out with 2 to go, and you're the winner. What do you got to say, Mayor Man?
Woo! I cannot believe this. I learned everything off of iRacing. Coming back from the iRacing IndyCar series I used to be in, and now I've used all the skill sets I've gotten there, and I've somehow managed to get the win. That was amazing. Woo!
Obviously ecstatic, Nick. What do you got to say out there? You know, like who supports you, man? Like who supported you through this race?
Well, I do have some guardian angels over me. I mean, I got my family, you know, they put some support with me. They wish me all good luck. I got my friends from school. I'm going to be graduating in a couple days. FTC 2017, baby! And now we're going over to the Penn State. I'm going to be seeing a college car soon, so stay tuned for that. And this is amazing. A lot of people had a lot of support. I'm so glad I got all the congratulations from everybody. I mean, this is really wonderful. There's no other words to describe how ecstatic and wonderfully feeling I am right now. Rogers.
Nick, you've had a lot of races that just did not go your way, either through a wreck or through an engine failure.
Please don't remind me of NSR.
Yeah, but he's had some good luck recently, Blake.
He has.
So, just
Let's stick to the positive here, guys.
With all that has happened, what does this win mean to you in the grand scheme of it all?
Oh, this is the biggest win of my NR career. I'm pretty sure I'm never gonna forget this moment.
Hey, what kind of milk you gonna get?
Probably chocolate milk.
Chocolate.
I like chocolate milk though.
He's gonna Takuma Sato and he's gonna pour it all
over.
over.
Driver. Dude, you did absolutely excellent. You led the last couple of laps there with an aggressive pass on David Shieldhouse, and the caution came out with 2 to go. I'm sure you were smiling. How did you feel when you were leading that race?
Oh my goodness, my heart was pounding the entire time because I knew I think it was Lawson and Shieldhouse. They actually did team up on me a little bit earlier in the race, which kind of overtook me. So I somehow managed to bounce back. Had a bit of a bad pit stop. I went a little bit too far over my pit stall. I rebounded. I got past Milelio. I got past everybody else, and I just can't believe I made that ballsy move and got the win.
Well, congratulations to you, Nick. Very, very solid run there. Some aggressive moves, but you came out on top.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. All right, so here's what the behind me with the 07 is. It's because, if you haven't noticed already, whoever's watching, I made it based off of Captain Falcon from F-Zero. Yeah. And I just figured, okay, maybe I could just drive fast like him, and then I didn't think I would actually win.
Oh, you did win in the Blue Falcon, indeed, my dear friend. I think
wonder where
I
my
had
Red
you
Gazelle
as the
teammate
underdog
came
pick to
in.
win this one, dude. You were fast up there. You were running up front consistently. You were a solid pick to win here, and you did win today. So
I
maybe
wonder
you
what my
can
Vegas
run
odds
next year.
were.
Maybe you can get a repeat.
I would love a repeat. I'm just not sure what the rules will change next year.
Well, congratulations to you, Nick. Enjoy the milk. Enjoy the victory tonight.
I need some milk.
He needs some milk.
Milk.
And that is Nick Gunther, guys, in victory lane. The celebration on that F-Zero 7 car will continue likely throughout the whole night and the rest of the weekend.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, no matter what, we had an amazing race out here tonight. Thank you all who came out. Our final order in our final official standings is Nick Gunther with the win, Brandon Lawson in second place, Brandon Hawken in third, Austin LaPlante fourth, John Poole the third in fifth, Justin Malillo in sixth, Rick Johnson in seventh, Shane Sides climbing back up into eighth, Bobby Jones in 9th, Henry Nova in 10th, Zach Buchanan, a bit of a comeback, in 11th, Noah Carmichael in 12th, Jason Justice, strong in the beginning, unfortunately finishes 13th, Dylan Poteet 14th, Tyler Stallhood 15th, Bordeaux 16th, 17th Amando, 18th Shieldhouse, 19th John Wall, 20th Corey Williams, 21st Seth Cole, 22nd Tom Sylvain, 23rd Joseph Ernesto, 24th Randall Coleman, 25th Doug Denise, 26th Corey Carpenter, 27th Philip Kraus, 28th Derek Justice, 29th Greg Irwin, 30th Dylan Young, 31st Joseph Weaver, 32nd Zach Kostowski, and 33rd in dead last, unfortunately, Dylan Schwallenberg. Well, we thank you all for coming out here tonight. We all had a blast doing this. Big thank you to both DJ Curtis and Zach Rogers. Any final words, gentlemen?
It's been an honor here commentating the SRA Indy 500. It's their inaugural race here, for crying out loud. And we saw a surprise winner at the end. It was some good racing. The field was actually passive in the first half, as we saw. But indeed, it was fun. Hopefully, Blake, we can do this next year, because I would certainly join you for another SRA Indy 500 race to watch.
Well, thank you all for watching.
Yeah, guys, it was great. Before you cut me off there, you know, I had a great time. I think I talked too much. My throat is I think dry. I got to go get some water or something. So, I'm gonna go relax. You know, I was gonna go try and run TDR, but I tried to run SMS Lobby and anti-cheat, and I got a red screen behind my TeamSpeak. My NR would not launch, and now Kaspersky tells me I have malware. So I'm just going to say I hate SMS Lobby right now. I've uninstalled it, and that's all from me, guys. I'm in an awesome mood right now.
Well, thank you all for those who viewed, who will view this event in the future. And thank you all for coming out and participating in this event. Hats off to SRA for putting on such an amazing event. We certainly all had fun. Nick Gunther is your winner. Good night, everyone.
The following is a special presentation of ABC Sports.